that we done came from the bottom. Mad that we up, but I don't hear him talking. Started with knowledge inside of my noggin. We took a dream and then we started blogging. Put my city on the map now. I'ma say how it is and I don't back down. On the road to 100K, we finna act out. We gon' show them that we not just in the background. We the main event, we the main show. We the one that people always gon' pay for. FYF, we the best, no debate though. Number one sports channel, every angle. I'ma show them all how we ride. Best sports talk show, we not like them guys who playing it safe while they feather the lines. We switching the narrative all of the time. Like who to go in the game is not MJ. Kobe Bryant top 10, not what we say. I keep Elijah one is very overrated. Keep it real if it ain't fact, we don't say it. Now it's stable, we won't be ignored. We number one, especially when coming to sports. FYF bringing the heat here, of course. Where everything backed up with actual source. Everything backed up with actual source.
FYF Sports, man, it's Lamont. We'll be back. Salute to everybody pulling up today, man. Got a good show for you guys, man. Got a good show for you guys today. Appreciate you guys getting in here. Max, we got Najee in here. We got Uncle Iro, salute. I see you commenting a lot. Doobie. Appreciate everybody pulling up today. We're going to have a good show for you guys. Not particularly sure how long we're going to be live, but I will be addressing this particular topic. I'll drop the link so you guys can come up here and cook on it as well. Because this has been one of the most confusing topics, like not from the perspective that I don't understand what people are saying. I just don't understand how so many people have misinterpreted what was said. And it's starting to look like it's not the message. The people just don't like the messenger. That's what we're going to really be talking about today here on FYF Sports, man. Before we get started, y'all, make sure you guys go purchase your copy of the LeBron James GOAT Encyclopedia, Weaponized Truth for the Debate Era, right? This is not a book that's just selling you that LeBron is the GOAT. That's not what this is about. This book is going to be about LeBron James, not because he failed, but because he succeeded too much to fit the script. The media built the myth around Jordan. And when LeBron broke that myth, they moved goalposts. That's why I created the LeBron James GOAT Encyclopedia, to end the lazy takes and give fans the receipts that they need. Over 100 myths destroyed, real stats, real quotes, real truth, one-line kill shots for every argument. Grab your book on Amazon today. Please grab it on Amazon today. The paperback and hardback copies are available. You guys have been sending me images of your books, and salute to you guys for helping the book break the top 200 in basketball books on Amazon in its first week of being available. So salute to you guys. Make sure you go over to Amazon. The link is in the chat. Make sure you get your copy of the LeBron James GOAT Encyclopedia. Again, this is just debunking the myths. It is debunking the fake narratives. We have people like King Rowe, who's always coming on this channel, and all he's sitting here talking about is the negatives of LeBron. We debunk those myths. Just like what we do when he pulls up to the panel, he just tries to lie and use narratives or use very small segments of a player's career to try to define them. You can break those myths with this book right here. It's a great read, has a lot of facts in it, and it's going to help you if you're looking to step into a lot of these debates on FYF Sports or on any other platform. Make sure y'all grab y'all book today, man. But appreciate everybody pulling up, man. As y'all know, man, it's no secret that Gilbert Arenas and Tracy McGrady made their comments about ring culture on ESPN First Take. And Tracy McGrady made the comments that if you put me in Kobe's position, I win championships too. And as soon as he said that, all of the so-called Kobe fans pretended that it was some form of disrespect to Kobe. When the only thing he was exposing is the fact that is if you give me a great player, great coaching, and a great team and a great organization, I win too. Tracy McGrady is just exposing the fact that it takes more than just a great player to win championships. This is just doubling down on the things that have already been said. Michael Jordan said the same thing. When Jordan said it, there was no significant backlash. It seems that this conversation only tends to be a problem when it doesn't come from the messenger that everybody wants it to come from. Because when Jordan said the exact same thing, and he used himself and Bill Russell and some of the other greats as examples, nobody said a word. Nobody said he was hating. Nobody said he was disrespecting anybody. There wasn't this influx of content creators making videos and videos on top of videos saying that he's disrespecting or anybody like that. It makes no sense. What Tracy McGrady said is, if you put me on a great team with another superstar, I'm going to win too. I've been telling y'all this from the jump. Winning is team. It shouldn't have to take for these players to tell y'all this nonsense for y'all to finally get it. But the one element that I want to speak on today, where I feel a lot of y'all are just being completely fake, is when T-Mac said that if you replace me with Kobe, I win championships too. So many people, so many YouTube videos now attacking T-Mac. T-Mac was one of Kobe's biggest fans. They were friends. Kobe even compared himself to T-Mac, saying he can literally do everything that I can do as far as how they approached and played the game. But now we have an influx of very weird, fictitious Kobe fans trying to now push the narrative that T-Mac is a Kobe hater. Now they're also trying to push the narrative that people like Gilbert Arenas are Kobe haters. I want to know where this is coming from. And Uncle Iro, I don't think Kobe would be disappointed in his true fans. It's the fake fans that have just come along that Kobe would be disappointed in. The fake Kobe fans that I'm specifically talking about are the Kobe fans, I'm only referring to the pretend Kobe fans that have attached themselves to Kobe Bryant only in an effort to diminish LeBron James. I want y'all to make the connection. Dreamers Pro is a purported Kobe fan, but he's also a known LeBron James hater. Scap Attack is a purported Kobe Bryant fan, but he's a known LeBron James hater. All of these people that are coming out pretending as if these comments, anything that Gil said or Tracy McGrady said, is disrespectful to Kobe. All of the fake Kobe fans have one thing in common. They all hate LeBron James. And what they also hate is they also hate Kobe fans that don't diminish LeBron. What is T-Mac known for? Calling LeBron James one of the best, one of the GOATs. What is Gil known for? Putting LeBron James in his top 3. When you do that, when you're a Kobe fan, but you also uplift and talk positive about a LeBron James, to the fake Kobe fans, you're not a Kobe fan. They're always going to try to find a way to diminish and try to separate you from Kobe. It's for all the positive things. Take, for example, Gilbert Arenas, for all the positive things that he said about Kobe Bryant, for the amount of times that he stood up and defended Kobe Bryant, even to the tune of letting y'all know that Kobe was great with the 3 championships. It was y'all fake fans. It was y'all fake fans that have just now come along pretending that y'all accept his greatness. It was you guys that while Kobe was playing alongside Shaquille O'Neal, you guys were the ones poking and prodding at Kobe, telling him he wasn't good enough, telling him he was just a sidekick, telling him he couldn't win if he didn't have Shaquille O'Neal. It was you fake fans. When Kobe walked into those arenas, you guys were the ones chanting Kobe sucks in every single arena in the NBA. There is not one reported arena in the NBA that did not at one point in time chant Kobe sucks, including the Staples Center. This is the sad element that we dealing with, y'all. This is the element that we dealing with. A whole bunch of fake Kobe fans who spent the majority of Kobe's time while he played and even after he retired tearing him down. When we talk about the media, right? All of these fake Kobe fans like Stephen A. Smith. Why do I call Stephen A. Smith a now fake Kobe fan? One, he now has this odd vendetta with LeBron James, which is now all of a sudden elevated his love for Kobe. But it's people in the media that screwed Kobe over, that implanted seeds of doubt in his greatness when he was playing alongside Shaquille O'Neal. And not just that. It was this same media that chose to never vote for him as the league MVP, with the understanding that if he does not have those MVPs, he will never be truly considered in the same tier or class as some of the greatest of the greats of all time. This is how we know a lot of these media members with these takes are fake, because they had ample opportunity throughout Kobe's prime to vote him as the league MVP, to put accolades on his mantle that will supplant him and make it not even arguable that he's one of the top 10 or 5 or wherever you want to place some players of all time. But what did the media do? Let me take you out of something. First, I'm going to play you guys a clip directly from Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant talked about this same element. He talked about the fake fans and the fake media. The fake fans and the fake media that all just doubted him, even though he chose to be that so-called Scottie Pippen type player, to win championships for the team, to sacrifice his greatness, even though he chose to do these things. We got King Rowe in here. Now he's talking about clicks. He's not talking about the topic. Running from the topic. Another fake Kobe fan. These are fake Kobe fans. This is why they don't know his career. This is why they don't know Kobe's game. Play this clip for you guys right here, because it's one thing for me to say it, but it's another thing for you guys to hear directly from Kobe Bryant himself. Let me play this clip for you guys. Share my screen. Make sure y'all can hear this.
Because he joined former NBA colleagues. That sounds so formal and nice, right? Darius Miles, Q Richardson on their Knuckleheads podcast, which, by the way, is a very fun listen, just dropped today via the Players Tribune. Miles asked Kobe about his life without Shaq after he was traded in the summer of 2004. Take a listen to his response.
Here's the thing. When I was playing, I've been chastised a lot for being selfish, saying we just got to fit into a team. It's about winning championships.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I get it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Won 3 straight. Okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew that
Kobe said he would get chastised a lot. I want y'all to ask yourself, who was chastising him? Was this fake? Was Kobe just making this hate up? Is all this stuff fake in his head? Kobe said, you guys, the fake fans and the fake media members, were chastising him. King Rose says, Gil is eating off the clicks. No, Gil is just talking basketball. And because he's good at it and because he's entertaining, people go watch and he gets clicks. It's not the topics, King Rowe, it's Gil. People don't, there's a million people on the internet talking about this topic. They choose to go watch Gil because they want to hear what Gil has to say. So what you want to think about is it ain't the topics that get you the clicks. It's the person that gets the clicks. It's your ability to disseminate and have your own organic opinion, King Rowe, and not just follow trends of what other haters talk about. I always talk to you about this, King Rowe. What is your original and organic take? That's what makes people want to come watch you. Y'all always get mad and pretend. Gil can turn on his live and talk about, we've seen him talk about Call of Duty, paintball, all types of stuff, and people go watching masses because it's Gil. Stop acting like it ain't Gil that people trying to hear. It's Gil, not the topic. And as I said, how do we know it's not the topic? Because other players like Michael Jordan have said the same things about ring culture, and y'all did not care. So it's not the topic, it's the person. Just like I said before, y'all crying about the person. I'm going to further expose this even more, and I'm going to show you why all you guys, including somebody on Gil's own show, they're complete hypocrites, completely hypocritical, right? But Kobe said it right here. I'm going to run it back a few seconds. I was criticized for doing it the right way. Let's listen to Kobe Bryant's words one more time.
The Players Tribune. Miles asked Kobe about his life without Shaq after he was traded in the summer of 2004. Take a listen to his response.
Here's the thing. When I was playing, I would get chastised a lot for being selfish, saying we just got to fit into a team. It's about winning championships.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I get it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Won 3 straight. Okay, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also knew that when my career is over, they're going to chastise me for the same thing.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, well, you're only great because you played with Shaq. And I'm like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways, bro.
Right.
Like, so.
Just like they do with Scottie Pippen. How many times have we heard on this channel, Pippen only good because Michael Jordan carried him. Pippen wouldn't be all this if he didn't play with Michael Jordan. Just like they found a way to tear down a guy like Scottie Pippen. Kobe Bryant is saying it out of his own mouth. This is coming from, and Brandon Katz, once again, y'all are so stupid that you think I'm comparing Pippen to Kobe. I always tell y'all, try to just take your hand tight, whether you got to have somebody tie you up like Diddy or something, and so you can't type. Try listening first before you just start skedaddling and typing stupidity. It's one of the reasons why you can't last 5 seconds on a panel, because you don't listen. This is not a Pippen Kobe comparison. What we are comparing is how they were both treated. Not if they are similar players. But people like Brandon Katz, who also is a fake fan of a lot of these players, who also just pretends just to push narratives and propaganda, and it ultimately circles back around to just hating LeBron James. Because y'all are too stupid to just sit back and listen to what people like Gil, T-Mac, or even what Kobe Bryant himself is saying right now, y'all want to jump out the roof and pretend as if somebody is hating on Kobe. Kobe is telling you himself. Let me play it a little bit more. And salute to Young Africa in the chat as well.
It was important for me and Shaq to go separate ways.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want people to use that again. They still do. But it was important that I win championships without him. And you get a glimpse of what I could have done individually had I not played with him. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was a big driving factor. It's like, hold on, don't get it up now. Like, yeah, I'm doing this thing. I'm playing with Shaq. And it's like, take Mike, put him with Wilt.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq was a force of nature.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to kind of take a backseat.
You got to take a backseat.
First of all, shout out to Kobe for proper use of the word chastise.
He said, I had to take a back seat because Shaq was a force of nature. Remember what I said. How many times have so many fake Kobe fans come up here and said, Kobe didn't take a back seat. Kobe wasn't a side. Kobe wasn't a two option. Kobe just said it himself. And I always told y'all, if Kobe was truly a 1A, 1B option, if Kobe truly was the number one option over Shaq, you guys would have never implanted these seeds of doubt in his head when he played. Let me give y'all another aspect of this as well, because another teammate of Kobe Bryant's said the same exact thing. Let me take y'all to this as well, because as a teammate, he saw the same issues, and he said, and he talks about his experience watching it from a teammate perspective. Check this out right here, you guys. Let me share my screen real quick.
And it's your first ring without Shaq. And you and Kobe are leading the way now. And how did it feel proving to the world that you guys could win without Shaq? And
pause right there. Why would he even ask this question? Prove to the world that you can win without Shaq. If you guys felt Kobe was this all-time great player, number one option, Michael Jordan-esque type player, why were you guys running around doubting if they could win without Shaq? It's all of y'all fake Kobe fans that are pretending that Kobe was saving Shaq, doing all. If Kobe was doing all of this stuff, if Kobe was as great as you fake Kobe fans in the moment are saying he is now, then why were you guys the ones doubting him in the moment? He was winning the championships. He had 3 of them. He was on his way. Y'all still weren't satisfied. Let me play this.
walk us through kind of what that was like. I know you mentioned just now how determined, and we've heard stories of how determined Kobe was. Like, he wanted to get one without Shaq. Was there any story that really, amplified that statement, where you guys are into practice and he pulls you to the side, just something where you were like, okay, this guy's not playing around about getting a ship this year?
Nah, I don't think he ever, at least to me, we never openly talked about this. We need to do this without Shaq in order for this, in terms of publicly or outside of like our own internal drive to like be great. At the same time, in saying that, I'm not stupid. Like, I knew I knew that that was a significant part of what was driving him. And so when we get to the cusp of winning the title in 2009, like, yeah, the Shaq energy of like winning one without Shaq is there. More of that was media than Kobe really like carrying it around every day. Even though you knew in the back of his mind, like it was there, but it wasn't just about, I want to show Shaq. It was also the same people that were questioning whether or not he could actually lead a team to a championship without Shaq. It was also for them too. So it wasn't so much of a like, I got to show Shaq this. It was also for the writers and the newspaper people and the ones that Cole can't win without Shaq. Cole can't do this. He doesn't know how to be a leader. He also wanted to, I think, confirm his ability to lead a team to the top. So
fast forward to 2009, and
once again, D Fish talks about Kobe's drive to prove the media wrong. It was the media, the Stephen A. Smiths, even if you have examples here, it was people like Skip Bayless. Right? Skip Bayless was talking about Kobe Bryant was more selfish. He was basically saying if Kobe Bryant had Lamar Odom, he would turn Lamar Odom into a superstar. But because Lamar Odom's playing with Kobe, he's only going to be relegated to just being a regular role player. It was people like this running around. This is what they were writing in the moment. But now you have these same people now all alluding to now Kobe is in the top 10 conversation, right? It's all fake. It's all fake love. It's all fake. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is exactly what Gilbert Arenas was talking about. How the media drives what these players push for in their career. Ring culture is derived from the media and what the media and fans expect of these players. What do fans expect of players? Y'all fans, when we come up here and talk, when we have King Rowe and some of these other basketball heads up here, and all they're saying is, oh, he lost in the final, or he lost, or he choked. So you know what these players said? Well, if it's about winning and it's about not choking and always winning, well, let me go put myself in a circumstance where I can win. But because you guys are so delusional and because you guys don't want these players to start winning to a degree where they can start catching some of your favorites, then you start to denigrate how they won. Well, you didn't say stay on your same team. You didn't do it the right way. It's as I said on Goat James Kingdom stream. We just have an influx of a lot of people that just cry. The fans hated Kobe. The media hated Kobe. They despise everything that made Kobe great. And then even if we go to a guy like Draymond Green, because remember what I said earlier, it's about the messenger who says these things. Because let me tell you guys what Draymond Green said about what Gilbert Arenas said. Let me put it on the screen here. So Draymond Green, and let me make this bigger real quick. So Draymond Green said, in response to what Gilbert Arenas said about ring culture, Draymond Green said a bunch of non-champions having championship conversations. A bunch of non-champions having championship conversations. This is the world we live in, Green wrote. And the article further says that Arenas had an impressive NBA career as he made 3 All-Stars, 3 All-NBA teams, but never won a title. Green doesn't think the likes of him should be having such conversations. It says, this is what Green stated. He said, or this is what Arenas stated. He says, you should thank us for the conversation so that second and third options get a fair judgment, Arenas replied. Klay with 4 rings was left off the top 75, but a guy like Damian Lillard was put on the top 75. Pippen, who has 6 rings, sits at number 32 all time. And there are 6 people in front of him who don't have any rings at all. But why? It's not my opinion. He says it's the research that exposes that they don't respect second option rings. So not only did Kobe expose that you guys don't like players who are second options and win rings, the media this is all Gil was saying. He was talking about how ring culture is flawed. Kobe just talked about it. Jordan even talked about it. They talked about, so we saw Draymond Green, all of a sudden, he says, there would never be a reason for me to thank y'all about anything involving the game of basketball. He says, there's also nothing you guys can say on the topic y'all can cover that can change anything for me when it comes to the game of basketball. Only someone who's never been a champion would think that conversation would even matter. He says your research was just missing one key perspective. A champion understands what it means and it takes to do so. So it's just a tad bit flawed. Now Green, again, remember what I told y'all? I said they always get mad at the messenger. Gilbert Arenas didn't say anything different from what Kobe said, Jordan said, even what T-Mac had said on that same show. But because a lot of these people have these weird, odd beefs with Gilbert Arenas, whether it's because of past takes, and for Draymond Green, obviously it was he is documented that he's had an issue with Gil ever since the Rudy Gobert incident. They get mad at the messenger. And so because Draymond chose to get mad at the messenger, he also completely contradicted his own talking points on the same issue. Because when Draymond Green's good buddy, LeBron James, talked about ring culture, I want y'all to listen to what Draymond Green had to say about ring culture when LeBron James said it, and it wasn't coming from Gilbert Arenas. Let me play this for you guys real quick. Let me share my screen. And let me give a shout out to Mike_88 with the $5 super chat. He says, we got 4 to 6 videos where Mamba talks about T-Mac's greatness. Not one video of him praising Matt Barnes, Swaggy, or McCants. That is facts right there. Let me share my screen real quick. And I'm going to be dropping the link pretty soon here because I want you guys to come up and cook on this topic. I want y'all to listen to what Draymond Green has to say about ring culture when it comes from somebody that he's cool with, right? Because he likes the messenger. I want y'all to check this out.
That I do very often on this show, Draymond, and I haven't done it in a while. I'm gonna cut the room. All right. And so when I cut the room, this has been only conversations people with championships can have, professional championships. So right now it's just, us talking because these two has never been one.
8th grade, South Georgia, Gatorade champion.
But I say that though, man. Once you win a ring and a championship, everything else feels like a failure. Playing Toronto and getting there and not winning it, that's a failure. Playing the Cleveland Cavaliers and being up 3-1 and losing, that's a failure. To many other people, that's a great success. But when you feel what it feels like to have the trophy, everything else is just a part of the journey on the way to a destination that's ultimately important. Recently, LeBron James spoke about ring culture and how, in summarizing, like, it doesn't define like the individual's greatness. I disagree with that. I think part of being great is being great in the most important moments that allow your individual talents to elevate a team. How do you see LeBron's comments, but also how do you feel about ring culture and the value that we put on that as it pertains to individual teams and players?
So I understood what Bron was trying to say. I do think, and I get the point. I don't think he did a good job of explaining it. And so when you are a champion, easy for you to say, yo, it don't matter because I'm a champion. Like, but what Bron was trying to say, at least what I think he was trying to say, you got people that haven't done this and they use that to dumb down the greatness of other guys that haven't necessarily done it. Chris Paul is a winner. I tell people all the time, Chris Paul ain't never won a championship. Chris Paul is a winner. Never fortunate enough to get quite get over the hump for whatever reason, whether that was his individual ability, but that don't mean he ain't great. And so I understand what Brian was saying, because it's like, well, if you didn't, in this media culture that we live in today, it's like, well, he ain't got a ring, so I could just blah, blah, blah. I could just crush this guy. And that's what Brian was getting at. It's like, don't take away these guys' greatness because they didn't get a ring, and then you just start speaking on the ring. But you've never, like, for a lot of people, they've never even played at this level. And so, and they use that to tag these guys. But you don't know how hard it is to win a championship. And so you start talking about these guys that didn't win, but you don't know how hard it is to win a championship. So when they say ring culture and kind of use it as this from its negative connotation, what Bron is saying, I'm watching these people say, this guy ain't great, that guy ain't great, this guy ain't great because they didn't win a ring. They still great. And so what it boils down to for me is, I get what he was saying, because those guys he named a few names. To me, they are still great. Yes, they didn't win a ring, but I know it's so much more that has to go right to win that ring. And you don't have a clue. And you're gonna crush this guy, and you don't know what it takes. You don't know all the things that need to go right. To win a ring, that shit is hard. It's very, very, very hard. You speak on ring culture. It's worked against Kevin Durant in the opposite way. It's so hard to win a ring. Our teams made it look so easy that people say Kevin Durant just went over there and walked to a ring. Man, without Kevin Durant, I don't know if we was going to win another championship. He didn't come and walk to a ring. We just got that good and made it look that easy. And so then this dude got the 2 rings and they still use it against him. That's the problem with ring culture. That's what LeBron was getting at.
But what the funny thing about it is, Gil just said the same thing. But see, when it comes from LeBron, he all of a sudden understands every element of it. But when it comes from Gil, all of a sudden, everybody up in arms, and it's called Kobe hate. Everybody hating on Kobe now. Everybody, I'm seeing comments and they're talking about, why y'all talking about this and Kobe not alive? This really and truly ain't even about Kobe per se. It's about the conversation. See, this is what I mean. They trying to attack the messenger because if the messenger that says it is too closely connected, because even Draymond Green, after he said this, got backlash from the Jordan fans. People like Gil are too closely connected to saying positive things about LeBron. So what do? They try to flip and mold everything that he says into some form of hate. They're literally having to trick their minds. Like, you literally, that's why it was so funny to listen to the Scap Attack Gil debate, because Scap Attack was literally debating Gil as if Gil had Kobe ranked 25th all time. But Kobe was great, man. He did all this great stuff, man. Kobe was great. Gil was like, yeah, I got him 2 or 3 all time. But Kobe was so great, man. Then what was the next question that he had? Remember, what did I tell you about this? Because it was a Kobe conversation. But what was the follow-up question that Scap asked Gil? But where do you have LeBron ranked? But because Gil said LeBron was ranked too closely to Kobe, how do you have LeBron ranked that high with Kobe? It's always coming back to LeBron for these guys. Remember, we got Dreamers Pro on video years ago saying that LeBron James had passed Kobe. But now because Dreamers Pro has this odd affinity with hating LeBron James, now all of a sudden, Kobe, without ever dribbling a basketball, has passed LeBron James, got to number 2 all time, and LeBron has somehow dropped from being his GOAT to outside of his top 10. These are fake fans. We have Dreamers Pro on video saying that LeBron is not only the GOAT, but he passed Kobe. And this was years ago. Now look at his narrative now. We have it documented of Skip Bayless hating on Kobe Bryant. But now look at his conversations about Kobe Bryant now. They just use Kobe to denigrate LeBron's career. That's all they use him for. They're not real fans. And it's all fake. And I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to show you guys another really good example of why it's all fake love. And this example stems from Gilbert Arenas on one of his own co-hosts on Gil's Arena. I want to play something for you guys because I want y'all to think. Let me take this off the screen. Remember how up in arms people got for Kobe when T-Mac said, if you replace me with Kobe, I win championships with Shaq. He was basically saying I could have did what Kobe did. But I want y'all to reflect on this. And I want you, and I'm gonna ask y'all this. Why did these fake Kobe fans not go up in arms when this guy said this right here? Because if what T-Mac said is disrespect, and T-Mac is actually talent-wise kind of on the same level as Kobe, how is this not disrespect when this guy says this? Let me remove this comment so y'all can see this. How is this not deemed as disrespect to Kobe?
Factor this in. I got 15 in the first. That was easy. I can get 81.
What 81 you talking about?
Kobe's 81.
Boy, it's out the mud. We got Rashad McCants.
Kobe's 81. Kobe's 81.
We appreciate
Kobe's
y'all for
81.
tuning in out the mud. Zach Randolph, Rashad McCants, Cemetery Lane. We did it. Out the mud.
So T-Mac can't say he can win a ring with Shaq. But a known LeBron James hater who also is even faking his LeBron James hate because he was a LeBron James fan. But even Rashad McCants said he could do what Kobe did. He basically dismissed Kobe's 81. He basically looked at Kobe's 81 and said, shit, I scored 15 and a quarter easy. That shit is easy. Did he not just based on y'all logic, based on how all of y'all weirdos flipped on T-Mac, is that or is that not disrespect to Kobe based on y'all logic? Based on y'all logic. If what T-Mac said, which wasn't even directed towards Kobe, if that was disrespect to Kobe, then how is what Rashad McCants said? Let me run that back one more time. Did you not hear this?
Factor this in. I got 15 in the first. That was easy. I can get 81.
What 81 you talking about?
Kobe's 81.
Boy, it's out the mud. We got Rashad McCants.
Kobe's 81.
He said he could get Kobe's 81. Kobe's 81. He didn't say he can get Devin Booker's 70 or none of that other stuff. He said, I can get Kobe's 81. That is easy. I just wasn't on the court long enough. Basically saying Kobe was out there stat padding and chucking up shots. How is that not disrespect? But Rashad McCants gets a pass from all the fake Kobe haters because Rashad McCants is a LeBron James hater. So he can kind of throw out the Kobe disrespect, and he used himself. And when you and salute to Rashad McCants, who is a hell of a basketball player, but he is not even close to being in the realm of even a T-Mac. At least, like Gilbert Arenas said, T-Mac and Kobe were compared to one another. When was Rashad McCants ever compared to a Kobe? Ever in the NBA? When was he compared? I mean, who is this NBA comp? But he can say that. But he can say he can get to Kobe's 81 and it's not disrespect. You know, King Rowe, we ain't talking about no college or high school championships. A lot of these players got high school and college championships. We ain't talking about no college championship. We talking about in the NBA. When did Rashad McCants' talent become so great? Now, if it was Allen Iverson that said it, okay, maybe I get that. If it was Carmelo Anthony that said it, okay, maybe I get that. Remember what I said when I was talking to Tyson on Go James Kingdom show? I said what T-Mac said is not disrespect because T-Mac and Kobe were similar talent-wise. If it was like a Raja Bell or Earl Boykins or somebody like that saying that if you play me with Shaq, I'll win a championship too. Of course, that's disrespect. But when you talk about in the realm of talent, it's like Kobe up here and Rashad McCants way down here. And that's saying a lot because Rashad McCants was a hooper. But when it comes to NBA basketball, nah, bro. You ain't getting to that 81. But do y'all now see how if you are a known LeBron James hater, you can get, you know what they did? They're willing to laugh off your Kobe hate. That's just Rashad being Rashad. The funny thing about it is that while y'all all laughing and kikiing and ha-haing, Rashad really think that. See, while all y'all laughing and kikiing and Rashad just being Rashad and he joking. No, Rashad really believes that. But see how quickly y'all willing to give away passes and whatnot. Bro Slam says they weren't talking about Tyler Lamont. They were talking about greatness. T-Mac was not, it is not, and cannot be Kobe. Well, Kobe said T-Mac can be Kobe. Kobe's the one that said T-Mac can do everything that I can do. And your talent is your greatness. Your legacy is your career. What makes Bill Russell great? His legacy. You can't put Bill Russell in too many conversations with great players and talk talent. If we go talent and greatness with Bill Russell versus Hakeem, you're going to take Hakeem Olajuwon 10 out of 10 times. He was just more talented. But when you talk about legacy and career, you ain't touching what Bill Russell did. Two separate things. Y'all try to pretend and play dumb and play with words. Talent and greatness. No, those are the same thing. There's only two things that you can have. And Kobe was very clear about it. Kobe said in the video that I played, he said, it's about my legacy. He says, I wanted to play without Shaq because he knew he needed to prove to the world that he could win a championship without Shaq because his legacy would get impacted. How you guys talk about his accolades. So all the things, so similar to Scottie Pippen, who has a bunch of all NBA first teams, all NBA defensive teams, all types of accolades. But y'all don't respect his greatness because he never did it as a number one option outside of the 1 year. Just like y'all never respected Kobe Bryant. And as Kobe Bryant so eloquently said, it was you idiots, you fake Kobe fans. Y'all were the ones planting these seeds of doubt. Kobe, you can't do it without Shaq. Kobe, you ain't that good. Kobe, you just a sidekick. But now all of a sudden, when Gilbert Arenas says that Kobe was a number 2 option for that short period of time during his career, y'all want to go up in arms. No, he wasn't a sidekick. Where was y'all complete buffoons at when all these people was planting seeds of doubt in Kobe? When people was chanting Kobe sucks, where were y'all at? Right? When the media was not voting Kobe as the league MVP, where were you guys at? When fans on social media were chastising, just like Kobe Bryant said, getting chastised for being selfish, not a team player. Where were y'all at then? Trying to dispel those narratives. Y'all did not exist because y'all were the very ones pushing and propagating those narratives. And Kobe said these things even after he retired. So that goes to show you that even up until he died, you guys were still hating him. And it's the saddest part about it for the fake Kobe fans in here is that the saddest part about it is it takes a player having to pass away before some of y'all buffoons actually give that player his respect. That's the saddest reality of the fake Kobe fans. And when I drop this link, there's going to be a plethora of fake Kobe fans that come up here and say, I was a Kobe fan when he played. I was the biggest lover and supporter of Kobe, and you're lying. Lying. How do we know this? Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna show y'all what y'all were doing to Kobe Bryant. When it came time to tell the world how much y'all actually appreciated him and loved him. Show y'all something. Back in 2006, right? Kobe in his prime, right? Right? This should be the time when y'all Kobe fans, if y'all was really Kobe fans, y'all would be really rocking with him, right? How come y'all wasn't rocking back with him in 2006? When GQ magazine came out, as you can see, January 5th of 2006, 10 most hated athletes in America. They got Leighton Hewitt. They got some more people on this list. They got AJ Pierzynski, Phil Mickelson, Bonzi Wells, Michael Alicelli. And at number 5, why did you fans vote Kobe Bryant as one of the most hate? Why did you guys hate him so much that y'all would land him on this list? And this is not the only poll. Even if you go to the Bleacher Report poll in 2011, after he won championships without Shaq, he was in the top 10 and the most hated on another poll. I can show you that one as well. It says right here, I'll be the first to tell you that Kobe has not helped himself with a lot of what's going on. Greg Anthony, former NBA player and current ESPN analyst, said he's never been the type to do things that would endear him to his teammates. Maurice Carter, one of Bryant's former Laker teammates, agrees. He's to himself. You're not in Kobe's life outside of basketball. You just have to accept that. But it's not off the court. It's not the off the court cold shoulder that rubs his teammates the wrong way. Bryant's on the court behavior is a real problem, as a player explains Anthony. First and foremost is his shot selection, because just like Kobe said, you guys called him selfish. You've got to understand that when you're not playing the game the right way, it's going to negatively impact you towards your teammates. And there were a lot of complaints about Kobe being selfish, not caring about anyone other than himself. Even his coach said he was uncoachable. If your coach is saying it, you can rest assured that the players are saying it as well. Shaquille O'Neal was the focal point in Phil Jackson's vaunted triangle offense, but Kobe's refusal to take a back seat to the Diesel sunk what could have been the most dominant basketball dynasty ever. Why did Kobe not want to take a back seat? Because you idiots kept saying it would impact his legacy. You idiots were basically saying, Kobe, you can't be top 10 all time if you playing behind Shaq. Kobe, we're not going to respect your championships if you keep winning them behind Shaq. That's what y'all were saying. It says they could have won 6 in a row, says one NBA insider. But Shaq and Kobe wouldn't even speak to each other. I mean, that's the most unheard of. You're talking about teammates, two of the best players at the time, not only on the team, but in the league. And they had no personal relationship. And I'm not talking about a day, but an entire season. And who could blame Shaq, the best teammate in the world, according to Carter, for shunning Bryant after Kobe inexplicably told Colorado police that O'Neal paid up to $1 million to discreetly remedy situations like the one Kobe found himself in during the summer of 2003. That's outlandish, says Carter. And why he said it, I have no idea, Greg Anthony adds. That's something you don't ever do. You never discuss someone else's personal business. That's an unwritten rule that he broke, and there's a price to pay when you do something like that. What was the price that Kobe paid? It was hate. The price that Kobe paid was hate from you guys. All of you guys who are fake and pretending that y'all are these big avid Kobe fans. Y'all hated him. Kobe said it. In 2006, they're saying it. Phil Jackson understood it. Derek Fisher just said it. But then when I drop the link and I bring you guys up on the panel, not one person will come up here and admit I was a hater. I ain't like him. I thought he was selfish. I thought he was an asshole. I didn't think he was that good of a player. Ain't none of y'all gonna come up here and be real. Y'all all come up here and pretend. I always knew Kobe could be that dude, man. He was the next Jordan. Y'all all come up here lying. When in all reality, there was only one person that knew how good Kobe Bryant could be. And that was Jerry West. There was only one. But y'all want to come up here and faking and prying. Remember, Gigi Kupo was voted on by who? Not the media. This was voted on by you guys. The media, for the media awards, like the league MVP, that was voted on by the fake media members. Fake Kobe fans. The one thing I respect, because the one thing, this is how you know when you've identified a real Kobe fan. Because the one thing about Kobe is Kobe respected elite basketball. Listen to how, I want y'all to go listen to how Kobe talked about Scottie Pippen in his detailed video. Listen to how Kobe himself talked about LeBron James. When Kobe himself was asked, if you had to create a team to win a championship, who's the first person you selected? Kobe said LeBron. When you're dealing with a real Kobe fan, that means you're dealing with a real basketball mind. If the first thing out your mouth is that LeBron James choked, or LeBron James is less than, or LeBron James is not this, or LeBron James is not that, you are not a Kobe fan, because once you start talking from a very low-level basketball, low-level IQ basketball level, that excludes you from being a Kobe fan. But this is the level. This is where we live right now. This is the world that we're dealing with right now. A whole bunch of people that are just fake and phony. And the saddest part about it is that everyone's attacking Gilbert Arenas, which Gil loves it. But y'all trying to attack his take because y'all hate LeBron. Y'all didn't attack Jordan when he said the same thing. Y'all didn't attack all these other people that have said the same thing about ring culture. But when LeBron says it, you attack him. When Gil says it, you attack him. I wonder why. We're going to drop the link, man. Let me drop the link. Let's get you guys up here to cook. We're not going to be live too much longer because at 6, because in a couple hours, in about an hour and a half, we got GOAT James Kingdom Friday Night Exposure with a show for you guys, man. And you know how he do. He's probably definitely going to cook you guys. Let me drop the link. All right. Make sure we're going to bring, I know King Rowe's going to click the link, y'all, because, and how do we know people like King Rowe have very, very low basketball IQ? Well, King Rowe has said that his New York Knicks, without a coach, without a coaching staff, without no leadership going into the NBA draft, with no leadership going into the summer league, they will be the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, and they are going to get to the finals and usurp what they did with Tom Thibodeau. And that they're going to change their style of play with a miniature point guard in Jalen Brunson, and they're going to speed that style of play up, similar to what Steve Nash was doing, and they're going to win a championship. Come on, man. Come on, man. Willie says, I don't need a wrench. Willie, you most definitely need a wrench on this channel because I'm sure you say stuff to get yourself blocked every day. So I'm going to definitely be giving you a wrench, Willie, to give you some protection because you just absolutely don't know how to talk the game of basketball. Brandon says, Lamar talked accolades with Pippen because he knows he can't argue Pippen is good enough to be a first option on the championship team. Well, Brandon Cash, Pippen can be a first option on the championship team if he has a legitimate second option. Just like Kobe said. I think I have another video that shows what Kobe said about that because Kobe even said out of his own mouth, I wouldn't have won without no Paul Gasol. He said, thank God we got Paul Gasol. Let me bring everybody up. Said out of his own mouth. If somebody got an echo.
Man, Pippen ain't no #1 option, nigga. You know that nigga ain't no #1 option, man. He a quitter,
Hold on. Somebody got an echo. I'm trying to figure out who got the echo. All right, well, I think we good now.
That Scottie a quitter, nigga. Fuck that nigga.
All right. Go write a book about it. Hopefully people go buy it. Just like we got. Just like people have already just like we have already sold over 800 copies of the LeBron James Gold Encyclopedia.
Man, show the proof there, nigga. I don't believe you, nigga. Show the proof.
Thanks to people like Hollywood Hearn, man. When we're doing the Hearn promo, you gotta go mute. Hold on. Because people like Hollywood Hearn motivated me to create the GOAT James Encyclopedia, man. Weaponized truth for the debate era because they lie and they will push narratives and they will say things that just are not true. This book is all facts, debunking it. The link will be in the chat if you want to get your copy today. If you order the digital copy, make sure to email me because I will send you a free paperback copy, but the link to get your book will be in the chat.
Yeah, I hit the PayPal.
They probably make you read that in law school, so they teach you to lie.
PayPal, so
hold on one second.
Hold the month back, man. Hit that PayPal, so we get the older month back, man.
Let me start with King Rowe, since King Rowe is the first in here. King Rowe, why do you feel that these fake Kobe fans and LeBron James haters are attacking Gilbert Arenas, even though he said the same thing that other greats have said, like Michael Jordan?
That's a very framed question. Everybody got a different opinion. Everybody's right in their own way. So, like, it's hard to answer that question because nobody feels the same. Even you clutch guys are infighting. All you clutch hated agents are infighting now. I thought Gil and Dre were clutch agents. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Be honest.
What makes Gil Gil doesn't work for Clutch. Clutch is a sports agency. They work for athletes, sports writers.
Yeah, and Gil's part of the media. So we all know, you know.
Don't work for Clutch, King Rowe.
Okay, he all but admitted it.
So as opposed
Oh, okay,
to
we get it. We get allegedly.
So hold on. So as opposed to talking real basketball, what you now chose to do is to go with fake talking points about people being affiliated with Clutch Sports.
I don't know what to think, man. Like I said, okay, real talk. No one's really wrong on this, and no one's really right on this. I think y'all really gotta like put this to bed because at the end of the day, you can't change history. You can't revise it. We know it. We know that Kobe wanted to win without Shaq, and Shaq wanted to win without Kobe. They literally had a competition, you know. They literally had the competition, and they've admitted it to each other.
Yeah.
So
As
again, they
teammates.
pieced it up before Kobe passed.
Shaq goes away. More important to win one now with Shaq not there?
Oh yeah, because that's the challenge. Some said I couldn't for whatever reason, but I knew the truth of it. I think Shaq knew the truth of the situation. I wasn't some sidekick. You see me every day. You know what I'm about. You know what I mean? So it was kind of insulting to me for people to think I couldn't be that dude.
Why did people think Kobe couldn't be that dude?
Agreed.
Why did y'all? Hold on, King Ro. Why did y'all think that?
No, I never thought that. I knew it'd be a challenge, but I never thought it. And I'm telling you, I'm admittedly a Kobe disliker. Like I didn't like Kobe, but I respected Kobe's. One thing I never did was say, "Oh, Kobe's like the 11th best player in the league." No, I knew Kobe was one of those guys. I didn't like his personal style personally, but I respected him. That's the difference. Kobe, you know,
in general, not what you in general. Why were people in masses making Kobe feel like
the narrative was Kobe's a sidekick, can't win without Shaq, right? And I didn't hear anybody, not Phil, not Shaq, come out and say, well, that's not true. He could. I didn't hear that. Everybody was quiet. I'm saying, okay, this is the challenge. This is what we're talking about right now. And so then when I decided to go and do my own thing, a lot of people in the media were like, well, that's very selfish of you. As we sit here today, everybody's using the argument against me and saying, well, you won your first 3 with Shaq. Had I not won that 2 without him, what would you be saying now? Right? So I was like, no, this is a challenge. I accept it. Let's go. And thank God they brought Powell here. That's what I was going to say. Those 2 wouldn't have happened.
So he said a couple things there. He said, thank God. He said, thank God they brought, because remember, King Ro, we were talking about this the other day. He said, thank God. He said, thank God they brought Powell here. Right?
Man, I want you to play a Shaq clip.
Hold on 1 second. Let me let King Ro finish. I'm coming to you next turn. He just said a couple things there. He said he keeps double down and reiterating on the fact that nobody believed in him. King Ro, I'm sitting back looking at the landscape, and I'm looking at thousands and thousands of comments, thousands and thousands of people that are ranting and raving about Kobe Bryant. Yet when Kobe played, where was all this love? Where was all this passion? Where was it at? King Ro.
It's the same deal. Like that's what it comes to with his ring culture. They need to see you do it before they believe you can. Right? And again, that's just part of it. I think it's sick as well. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Hold on, King Ro. Listen to what you just said.
Go ahead.
You said, I need to see you do it. But at the end of that video, Kobe said, thank God they gave me Paul Gasol. Implying that if we didn't have Paul, if the organization, because we know the Lakers are an elite organization, if the organization did not go get Paul Gasol, the 2 championships would not exist. And what would y'all say? Hold on 1 second. And what would y'all be saying about Kobe, for example, if instead of having the buses be put behind the Lakers making those great moves, what if it was a front office like what the Cleveland Cavs had, who wanted to stay under the luxury tax, and they didn't go get them any help, right? What I want to know if we remove those 2 championships. So let's say the organization decides to go in a different direction and not get Paul Gasol, and he doesn't win those 2 championships, and he only has the 3 championships that he won with Shaq. What would you guys be saying about Kobe?
It was still great. Like, what we doing? Again, I'm telling you, people need to see you do it. They need to see you do it. And that's the way it goes. We knew Kobe was a champion. Like, I don't.
Let me go to Herm. Hold on, King
Yeah,
Road.
go to her.
Oh, you're lying.
Let me go to
King
Herm because
Road.
King Road, you're avoiding the question. But let me go to Herm because we know Herm's gonna banter. We're gonna give him this 30 seconds of banter before we have to kick him off. Let me put him on the big screen so I can at least turn it into a clip. Where's Herm at? Let me get Herm on the big screen. Herm, go ahead and unmute yourself, man.
Well, my nigga, I'm gonna tell you what it is, Lamont, man. I support you, I mess with you, but you sold your soul, man. You ain't the same Lamont that I used to know, man. You just switched up on everything that you stood for. You was supposed to bring the balance. You was supposed to bring the balance to these YouTube streets, and you couldn't. The music kind of too loud. I ain't gonna talk over the music, so you might want to turn it down a notch.
They can hear you.
You know, but I'm gonna tell you how it is, man. Hey, sing for me, cry, sing for me. But Gilbert Arenas in his peak was never top 5 at his position. So I don't know why he talking shit. Kenyon Martin never been top 10 in his position. I don't know why he talking shit. But end of the day, when it comes to Kobe Bryant, I'm disappointed in Kobe Bryant fans. Yesterday, y'all didn't once mention defense. Kobe Bryant broke a record for steals in 2000. As a 19-year-old, he did his thing. Broke a playoff record in steals. Y'all didn't talk about his defense. I'm disappointed with it. Y'all didn't mention 2002 in the series against the Kings and the Spurs. He averaged 33 against the Spurs. He averaged 35 against the Kings in 2002. Y'all didn't explain that because y'all would have mentioned that. That would have gained the significance of what Kobe played into the three-peat because he was significant. He was great on both ends of the court. And y'all could have differentiated why it's a separator with him and T-Mac. T-Mac, hell, I can name 100 players with T-Mac. Nigga ain't never got out the first round. Hell, I seen Joe Johnson get out the first round. Hell, I seen Glenn Rice get out the first round. That's the best player on the team. Hell, I seen Jamal Mashburn, that's the best player on the team, get out the first round. So why T-Mac crying like the hoe that he is? Stop crying, nigga. You had your shot. We ain't gonna talk about all the fourth quarters you blew against the Dallas Mavericks when you was with the Houston Rockets. You was up 2-0, and you played bad in every fucking fourth quarter after being up 2-0 against the Houston Rockets. We ain't gonna talk about how you was comfortable being up 3-1 against the Pistons. And you blew that. You had your chance, buddy. You couldn't stay healthy after 04. You just couldn't get the job done, son. Your career was done after 04 being compared to Kobe Bryant. It shouldn't even be a conversation on how you compare Kobe Bryant. But end of the day, we got to stop downplaying the greatness of Kobe. Kobe was that great. It's the reason why Shaquille O'Neal said it himself. I came in every year out of shape because I knew I had the best player in the world, and Kobe Bean Bryant. I knew I could get in shape during the season. So I was doing what I wanted to do in the offseason. I didn't work out. I was clubbing, partying, doing whatever because I knew I had Kobe Bryant. So if you guys don't want to take Shaquille O'Neal's word, they ain't gonna listen to no damn body. So that's why you guys don't entertain Gilbert Arenas. Don't entertain Kenya Moore, the dumbass. Don't even entertain A. Johnny in the month. Let them suckers have it. That's the bottom line.
Damn, how I catch a straight bullet? What the hell I do?
Hold on. Now, anybody up here?
It's just
Anybody up here? Anybody up here? I'm gonna pose this challenge. Can anybody up here summarize what Herm just said in the 2 sentences?
I can.
Kobe was that dude.
I can.
I can learn in 4 words.
Because I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Kobe was that dude. Period.
I can, Lamont.
Hold on. But King Rowe. We all knew Kobe was a hooper. I didn't need to see Kobe do it without Shaq to know he was a hooper. Why did y'all need to see him do it without Shaq to know he was a hooper?
That's the way they felt.
No. That's the way you felt, King Rowe.
No. I said that's the way they felt. I didn't frame my own.
Don't try to take yourself out of this conversation. We know, based on the way you think and see the game of basketball now, that you were hating Kobe at that time.
I was. I didn't like him personally. I did not disrespect him as a player. I knew he was that dude. I knew he was that killer, that Mamba.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Nah, you knew
Hold on.
Lamont dumbass was gonna play the music with his dumbass. That's why he played the music.
Hold
Oh,
on, can I
that's
go?
he
Hold
did
on.
that on
And it's
purpose,
all
right? He
good.
played that
Hold
quiet
on.
music.
I'm gonna cook
Let
this fake ass exposure later. I'm gonna cook this fake ass
Hold on.
exposure
Let me
later.
go
That's
to.
all I'm
Let
gonna
me
say.
go. Hold on. Let me go to
I'm gonna
boycott
end this ass like
Activision.
the pull up
Yes,
podcast.
I'm
Hold on.
honoring
Hold on.
now.
Hold on, y'all. I got to go to boycott Activision. He was up next. And
Dude,
somebody got some
I'm
background noise. Somebody got some
Yeah,
background noise.
yeah.
Go.
I got a question that's kind of out the left because I had this conversation at work because of Gilbert Arenas, and they were talking about who's the GOAT, and they were talking about ring culture, and I said, so why not Bill Russell? And then it caused the whole chaos and all that stuff. And I think the whole number two conversation is, I think it needs to be looked at, like what makes somebody a number two, because we know Jordan had a tough time winning without Pippen, right? We saw Pippen successful without Jordan, right? So it's like we're looking at the person who scores the most as the number one guy. I think that's what we're saying. But then you have somebody like Tim Duncan. If we're trying to be consistent, I think Tim Duncan technically is greater than Kobe because he has three uh, Finals MVPs and two MVPs. But I never hear anybody bring up Tim Duncan as better than Kobe or the best of the 2000s or a GOAT. I want to know why, because it goes into that whole scoring thing. It's like because he wasn't a great scorer or something like that. But the man has 5 championships, just like Kobe, but he has one more Finals MVP and one more regular season MVP. Why don't we ever really say Duncan number three or anything like that? And I think like it's a scoring thing. That's what people care about the most. Like you see Steph Curry, he was the number one scorer, so they call him the best of the team. But when Klay was injured, they had the number one pick or something like that. So I think that's what the issue is. Pippen to me doesn't have to necessarily be a number two for because of all he did in the league. So my question is really why not Duncan over Kobe?
I think a lot of people,
Wait,
if you have an honest, I think a lot of people, if you have an honest top 10 list, are going to have Duncan over Kobe. If you're being honest, I think from what I've seen, and I'm not going to say this is true with all people, but from what I've seen, is that for the people that put Kobe into their, for example, top 5, you have to do one of two things. You have to just throw out legacy and career, and you just have to mostly base it on talent and what you saw, which again, if that's your criteria, I respect it. Or you have to create a manipulated criteria to try to wiggle him in. And then you have to start wiggling and manipulating and moving things around and trying to discredit this or elevating this aspect just to bump them up. Because if you sit down and create, no matter how you do it, if you sit down and create structured criteria on how to select your top 10, it's going to be tough to get Kobe to crack your top 5. Maybe with some people you'll get them in your top 10, but in with Duncan, it's easy to formulate criteria, and Duncan is typically going to fall. I've seen Duncan fall as high as 3 with criteria. But Duncan is almost always going to be in everybody's top 10 because he checks so many boxes, no matter what type of criteria you create. So I just think that it's just a whole bunch of dishonest conversations with Kobe Bryant. And a lot of people, again, like King Rowe was up here, King Rowe pretends to have criteria. But when we did King Rowe's criteria, what was he up here doing the whole time? Well, let me adjust this. Let me move this around because I don't like the way that list came out. Let me add more points to this side, and you trying to move stuff around just to get it to look the way you want when it just is what it is. And if you got to start doing all that, maybe the guy just ain't career-wise. And career-wise because typically they try to value championships, and Johnny talks about this a lot because they have to try to find a way to use championships over LeBron. But then they have to find a way then to diminish Bill Russell, like with King Rowe. What did he say? I can't include the 60s. Well, that's convenient because the guy with the most championships happens to be out of the 60s. But you want to weigh championships heavily. And so that's what makes it odd to me. I think people just like to play an unfair game. They don't really have a real explanation for it. Let me go to
Okay, can I say a few more things?
Who is that? Who is that? Who is that?
It's still boycott.
Hold on. I gotta go to Alpo real quick. I'm gonna come right back to you. Let me go to Alpo and I go to Frank, and we got Ajani up there as well.
Yeah. Now, what's the question, Lamont?
The question is, we were talking about why is it that when Gil talks about ring culture and T-Mac, and they sit there and talk about ring culture, and they literally say almost verbatim the same things that Kobe and Michael Jordan were saying about ring culture, just without using the term ring culture. But why is it taking this hate when they say it? But when Jordan and people like Kobe talk about it, everybody's silent and mum and don't have nothing to say. What? Or is it just that we're dealing with a whole bunch of people that just choose to attack people that like LeBron James? Because that's what I think it is with Gil. I think people just are trying to go at Gil's take because they know Gil is a LeBron James fan, and they just don't like that aspect of his basketball talk.
And but you want to know one thing, Lamont? Gil say he's not a LeBron James fan. He's a Kobe fan. He's a fan of basketball. So I really think it's to where they want to attack LeBron James too. They want to diminish him, but then they get so confused when other players win rings. They don't know what to do.
That's facts right there, bro. That's straight facts right
And
there.
then I kind of feel what Tracy McGrady and
Not
Kenyon
fair,
Martin
Gil.
them talking about, them saying they'll win a ring if they was with Prime Shaq. Didn't D Wade win a ring with Shaq? And that wasn't even Prime Wade.
That's right.
I mean, that wasn't even Prime Shaq.
And also what happened is when Shaq left the Lakers, what happened? The Lakers were below 500, I believe. And the Miami Heat got significantly better. I mean,
Yep, and that's a fact. And he won a championship 2 years. He was with them for a whole season. Then they won a championship the next year, right?
You know,
In 2006, yeah.
So so why can't no other NBA players be like, hey, hell yeah, I would have won a ring with motherfucking Shaq. But then they still gonna diminish it because when it comes to LeBron, they don't want him to surpass a certain type of player. Because Gil just said, I think it was yesterday, they named Michael Jordan the greatest of all time, like 92, when he had 2 rings. They consider Mike the greatest of all time. When Magic had 5, Kareem had 6, Bill Russell got 10, 11 rings. So ring culture, it's kind of like the MVP award.
I think it just come down to moving a goalpost, bro. Much people just kind of play favorites here, man. You know, they
It's
don't
a lot
really,
of feelings. People love to bring
a lot of
feelings
involved.
to facts. They like to bring feelings. They like to bring
hold on, is
their
that
feelings
Todd?
to facts.
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
All right, hold on, Todd. Let me. I'm gonna go to
I
Frank.
just want to know if y'all can hear me. Go ahead, brother. Finish talking. Go ahead. Finish
Yeah,
talking.
we here. I'm gonna come right to you, Todd, because I haven't seen you up here, so I want to hear your take. But Frank, what you got on this? Because I want to hear somebody talk on the. I want y'all to get your thoughts on the T-Mac element. T-Mac said.
Okay.
T-Mac has said that if I'm in Kobe's shoes, if I have that spot, then I win championships too. But they call that disrespect. But then when the LeBron James hater Rashad McCants, when he says
Factor this in. I got 15 in the first. That was easy. I can get 81.
What 81 you talking about?
Kobe's 81.
Boy, it's out the mud. We got Rashad McCants.
So, but when he says he can do what Kobe did and basically devalue Kobe's 81-point performance, that ain't disrespect. Well, Frank, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that is absolutely insane that he is talking like that because he's definitely not fucking Kobe Bryant. But if we're gonna talk about T-Mac, if you put T-Mac in Kobe's shoes, I definitely think he gets at least 1 ring. I commented on it today on Player's Choice. I think he'll probably get 2 rings. But I really wanted to come up here to say that I'm a big Bron fan first, but I feel the hate towards Kobe is just wrong at this point. he's definitely a top 10 player of all time. And I feel like people gotta just stop going back and forth about Kobe, Bron, and Jordan. They're all great
What
players.
hate do you hear? Do you see for Kobe today?
Well, people are calling him a number 2 option.
He was, bro.
But
Kobe.
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish.
Video of him saying he's a number 2
It's not
option.
your turn to talk, bro. It's my turn to talk. It's my turn to talk. Stop talking, right? So the way that I see Kobe is he was at that point in time a number 2, but there was a lot of games, and this is the way that I see. This is the way that I see basketball. I believe that in those games, there was a lot of games. Kobe was the fucking top player, and there was a lot of times you had Shaq be, 2. So yeah, at that point in time, you definitely had Shaq being the top dog. Yeah, of course. But there was a lot of games Kobe fucking took over. So you can't so this is why context matters. There's always
They can't use context because it kills their narrative.
Hold on, Frank. Can I ask you one question?
fuck narratives. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hold on, I'm going to Ty next.
Yeah.
Frank, my question to you is
yes, sir.
In the 2016 playoffs, when the Warriors desperately needed Klay Thompson to step up and he averaged 30 a game in that series.
Yeah.
Or even when you look at some of his big performances where he's dropped massive scoring games. Did that ever make him a number one option or 1A or 1B?
Fuck yeah, it did. Fuck yeah, it did.
So Klay Thompson was not a sidekick.
No, it did not.
Klay Thompson was, I mean, I don't like to use.
Was Klay Thompson a number two option? Yes or no?
A number two option? Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay, so sidekick is just number two option.
Let me in and destroy so I can destroy that BS narrative real quick.
I know, please. I got you, Todd. I'm coming to you next time. My thing is this right here.
Yeah.
In basketball, there is something called roles.
Yeah.
When we tell people what your role was, that is never disrespect. For example, hold on 1 second, Frank.
All right,
I'm going to you next because you got somebody has a lot of background noise. When we tell you, when we're looking at the game, and for example, if we say that Lou Will was a sixth man, well, Lou Will, traditionally, when you think of a guy coming off the bench, he wasn't your typical traditional guy coming off the bench because he played like a starter. And at times, he played like what you could possibly call a number one option.
Yeah.
But Lou Will's role was a sixth man to come off the bench.
Yeah.
It's not negative. When you say that you're a number two option, I don't know how and when being the number two option has been a negative thing. And what happened was the media, when Kobe was playing, the media weaponized and demonized the sidekick term because Kevin McHale was a number two option next to Bird or a sidekick to Bird, and it wasn't a bad thing. Magic, when he started his career, was a sidekick to Kareem, and it wasn't a bad thing. Pippen was a sidekick to Jordan, and it wasn't a bad thing. The media weaponized his role against him, saying, as long as you stay in this role, you can't never be Jordan. We ain't gonna never think of you as this. It was the media weaponized, and fans ran with it. So this is why I say to true basketball fans, and hold on, let me see. I think that's Todd. Yeah, Todd, you got a lot of background noise. I had to mute you. What I'm saying is to true basketball fans, when we are talking about the game of basketball, and we're talking about a very short time frame of Kobe's career, right? When he started to go into his peak and him and Shaq started winning championships. And when we started to talk about Kobe being the second option, why all of a sudden do you catch feelings when it never was or has been a negative thing until the media weaponized it against Kobe? This is everything that we've been talking about. All the videos that I've been playing have been showing you how the media weaponized and tricked. I don't even say they tricked Kobe, but they basically said, Kobe, you ain't gonna be. We ain't gonna think of you as an all-time great because we look at you as a sidekick. As a less than player. This is what Gil was talking about. And this is why Gil told Draymond Green, shit, this conversation is helping give you more credit because when Klay Thompson was left off the top 75 list, who was the one crying about it the most? It was Draymond Green. But why was Klay Thompson? Because we all up here know how great Klay Thompson is, right? But because the media has demonized and weaponized being a sidekick, just like they did with Kobe, now this is what made them leave off a Klay Thompson and put on a guy in Damian Lillard who this is my favorite player in Damian Lillard, and Damian Lillard does not belong. So all I'm saying is, why have you allowed the media to trick you into believing that telling you what Kobe's role was is disrespect?
Lamont.
No, not
this is to Frank, and then I'm gonna come straight to you, Todd.
Wait a second. What are you trying
why have you allowed? Because you just said that disrespect.
Kobe was Lamont. Kobe was a 1A.
Listen to what I'm saying. There's no. First of all, there is no. First of all, that's why I say I really implore y'all, Frank. I implore y'all to start talking real basketball. There is no such thing as a 1A. Okay, Frank. Please, y'all. Frank, Todd, you got a lot of background noise?
No, I don't have none, bro. There's no noise.
So hold on. I'm telling y'all this right here. You cannot soften. You cannot reword. I don't care if you use 1B. I don't care if you use sidekick. I don't care if you use number 2 option. They are all the same thing. And it just identifies a role. It does not change or identify or change the nature or characteristics of that player. If we say, for me, I know Scottie Pippen was a sidekick to Jordan. It's not going to affect or change where I have him ranked in my top 20. I give him credit for what he did as a player. Kobe, if Kobe would have won 8 championships in a row with Shaquille O'Neal, that motherfucker would have been right up there close to my top 10, if not in the top 10, because I'm going to respect who he was as a player, irregardless of what his role was on the court. Why are you guys feel that identifying or talking about somebody's role is disrespect? That's not. It's just your role. That's how you win in basketball. Everybody has a role. And in 2004, what 2004 with the Lakers should have showed you guys is that when people don't fall into their roles, shit hits the fan and you lose. Kobe said, I was done sacrificing. And when he was done sacrificing, they had one of the biggest choke jobs ever.
That's a cap.
Okay, so what happened in 2004 then, Todd?
This is what happened in 2004.
Like we didn't watch.
Hold on. Yeah, you watch, but you're not giving context. Let me give you context to that team. First and foremost, Malone missed damn near half the season with an injury. He's 40. He's at the end of his career. Peyton did not understand the triangle offense. He was benched multiple times in multiple fourth quarters in big games. The finals, Malone re-injured his knee in game 2 and was done for the series. Rick Fox he played 3 games, 11 minutes per game, missed the rest of the series because he was injured. Horace Grant missed the whole series. That's 2 starters in their 6 men. Those are key players. The Pistons ran traps and double teamed Kobe and let Ben Wallace play Shaq straight up. And nobody on the Lakers could hit an open shot. That's how they lost that series. It ain't got nothing to do with Kobe. It was the overall team that lost it. And then they picked for Chauncey Billups. They picked on Shaquille O'Neal in the pick and roll. That's what the fuck happened. Shaq was out of shape, bro.
Todd, see, this is what I hate. I hate it. Oh, Jared, shut the hell up, man. I hate it when y'all try to give all of this extra. First of all, Larry Brown. Let's just talk about who Larry Brown was and his basketball philosophy. Larry Brown is a no double coach. He doesn't double shit. Larry, hold on, Todd, because now we're talking basketball, and we've already played the film to support this.
This is what I'll do.
Hold on one second, Todd. Because if I have to play the film, I will. I hope that I don't have to play the film because I don't want to go down that road. So let's just talk about who Larry Brown is as a defensive coach. From college to the NBA, Larry Brown is a hardcore, staunch, man-to-man coach that does not double. And he did not even double Shaquille O'Neal in a time when Shaquille O'Neal was looked at as the most dominant force in basketball history. He refused to double. He did not double Kobe. He just deployed Tayshaun Prince. He did not double Shaq. He just deployed Ben Wallace. And ultimately, when we looked at it, and when we looked to this series, when we've already played the film.
This what I want you to do.
Hold on. Todd. We can just play the film right now. And I hope I don't have to waste time playing film because Johnny has a show coming up in less than an hour. And I don't want to have to waste time playing film. But hold on 1 second, Todd. Because just because a lot of y'all might be older, it don't mean y'all smarter. Y'all can't lie to me because I'm a defensive coach. I coach and I've won a national championship with defense. All I do is study the best defensive coaches. And so when people sit up here and say, and try to remember 20 years back what Larry Brown and the Pistons were doing, I'm supposed to go off y'all memory?
Check this out.
Oh, no, there's no checking nothing out. I know Larry Brown. I'm the only – hold on, Todd, I'm going to let you talk, but you got to let me finish. I'm the only one up here that's been to a coaching clinic of Larry Brown's. I'm the only one up here that – hold on, Todd, there's no weekend nothing. There's no end in the conversation. We can end the conversation when I choose to end it. And when I finish, I'm going to hand the mic over to you. What I'm saying is I'm the only one up here that's been to a coaching seminar that's been led by Larry Brown. I'm the only one up here that's probably studied the defense of that particular series. I'm the only one up here that's done these things. And I'm supposed to go off of these lies that y'all put out there. First of all, in that series, when we talked to that series right there, you know what they were doing? Kobe, the Pistons didn't do anything. The Lakers had the winning formula. Shaq was the winning formula. Shaq was the one shooting 63% from the field. Shaq was averaging 27 points and 10 rebounds. That's what Shaq was doing, right? Kobe was the one out there getting guarded by Tayshaun Prince, shooting 38% from the field, averaging 22 shots per game in that series. So hold on. Hold on, Todd. The funny thing is that all y'all do, because you will be the same person when LeBron loses to all of a sudden context goes in the garbage can. But all of a sudden, because just like in 2011, no one will, like, for example, I'll concede, Todd, 2011, LeBron didn't play up to the level he should have played. Why can't y'all concede to something that obvious that Kobe Bryant let his team down in 04, which is obvious?
Can I speak now?
And so all we're saying is this right here. Y'all don't have to. We shouldn't have to go to the film just to show y'all that y'all lying if y'all don't know what y'all talking about. So Todd, if you think Kobe was getting double teamed, do you want me to pull the film?
No, this is
play it right now.
I want you to listen.
No. There's no listening. Y'all can't tell me more about that 2004 series because I've watched each of those games like 10 times. And this is recently. How are y'all going to tell me about a series that I watched more than you ever watched in your life?
Bro, I'm 50 years old. You ain't watched nothing more than me. I don't know what you talking
about. Y'all think because y'all old, y'all know more. Y'all old and dumb. This is why young kids now don't listen to y'all. Y'all old and dumb.
Yeah,
y'all say a whole bunch of narratives.
Like I said, that's why you won't let me talk.
Because what did I say in 2025? It's not going to be a microphone for stupidity. If you can't tell me the defense, if you can't tell me the defense that the Pistons were running, you cannot talk about that 2004.
They implemented a zone and a boxing one.
They don't
go check this out. Check this out.
Larry Brown is.
Check this out. I want everybody in this chat to do this. So why nobody can score against the Detroit Pistons. It's a whole breakdown of what they did.
This idiot just said Larry Brown went zone. I want y'all to think about this.
What you want to bet?
What you want to bet? NBA history.
What you want to bet?
I'm gonna tell you this right here. What is Larry Brown's mantra?
What you want to bet?
Y'all gotta stop talking stupidity. Larry Brown's number one statement about defense is this: a great man-to-man defense is always going to look like a zone. You so dumb that you looked at what he was doing because it's a great defense and you thought it was a zone. Larry Brown hates zone. He said it multiple millions and millions of times. And y'all going to tell me that he all of a sudden, because a zone would also result in traps and two people on the ball. They never doubled Shaq. They never doubled Kobe. So what type of zone don't result in 2 on the ball or 3 on the ball? What type of zone were they running? Because it definitely wasn't a box and 1. Ben Wallace in a box and 1? What is this? Man, why do y'all gotta lie, man? Jesus fucking Christ. Why can't he just choke? They choked. He let his team down. Move on. All these excuses is just y'all trying to filibuster. Jesus Christ, man. A box and 1 Larry Brown? I'll just play the film, but go ahead, Todd.
Yeah. Now this is the point that there's a video. It's called why nobody could score against the Detroit Pistons. This nigga do a straight breakdown of their defense. You'll see the traps on Kobe Bryant. You'll see all that, bro. You'll see it's a whole breakdown of that series of how they played Kobe and how they played Shaq. Me and you can go back and forth all we want to, but go to that video and it's a complete breakdown of their defense. And I'll bet you any amount of money that they tried to double Kobe.
Hold on. I can. Here's the thing right here. Here's the thing right here. I'm gonna tell y'all what they did on defense, y'all.
No, show us. Go to that video and show us.
Hold on. I've already done. I could put. I like to pull up the game film.
I'm telling you.
Hold on. Okay, Todd. I'll just pull up the film. I don't need to pull up anybody else's video because I'm gonna tell y'all what they was doing. They iced pick and rolls. If any of y'all don't know what an ice is, Ajani and I both talked about it, and they were a strong side help, and the help always came from the low side. So when the help came from the low side, because they helped outside of the lane lines, and they were a no middle team. One, they're forcing you away from the middle.
Show us video, bro, of the breakdown.
Please hold on, man. Just go back and watch. It's in my catalog. Or I'm about to pull the game up right now. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell y'all how they play defense. They were a strong side, no middle defensive team.
Oh Lord!
And they iced pick and rolls. Hold on. They iced pick and rolls. They went in the ice because they had Ben Wallace because he was agile and mobile. So you ice pick and rolls, and you're a strong side help team. They were not doubling. Larry Brown hates zones and he hates doubling. Larry Brown will never go into a zone. He never did in college where zones are more applicable. He never definitely did in the NBA. He's always a man-to-man team.
I said, and I bet money.
Zone.
And I bet money.
Hold on. We'll play the game.
Money.
We'll play the game.
No, not what you.
Okay. We're playing the actual game, not with me adding up. We're just gonna pull up the game, not no breakdown from them random. We're gonna pull up the game and just play the game. But while we pull up the game, let me go to Ajani.
You gotta watch the whole game if that's the case. They switched.
Okay, we're gonna pull up the game and we're gonna watch as much of it as we need.
The whole game.
This
video. The video.
Todd Jones, let me go to Ajani. I'm pulling up the game. I'm gonna let you do the breakdown. Hold on, let me go to Ajani.
Peace and blessings. What's good, fellas? What's good, man?
What's good?
You can hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
I'm actually testing out a new mic, and I'm also making sure George don't show up on another Kobe stream. I like to know from anybody who thinks that Tracy McGrady would have won only one championship with Shaquille O'Neal. Can anybody tell me what is it about Tracy McGrady's game that's removing 2 championships from Shaq? Anybody heard me say that? Anybody? Any Kobe fan? Any Todd? Ro? Anybody?
What was the question?
What about T-Mac's game is going to remove 2 championships from Shaq?
His mentality. Byron Scott. Look, Byron Scott sat there on an interview not too long ago. He said, McGrady and Vince Carter had more talent than Kobe Bryant. The problem was they didn't have that it factor. This is what Byron Scott said. This is a coach. This is an official NBA coach who said this shit. So McGrady also didn't play defense. During that Lakers from 2000 to 2004, they went to Kobe in the fourth quarters. They didn't go to Shaq. They said, here, young fella, carry us across this finish line. The 3 quarters, Shaq did his thing. But when the game was on the line where the pressure was, They put the ball in the 21-year-old hands and told him to bring us across the finish line. That's what they did. McGrady's not a clutch player. He can't. He doesn't.
Based on what? Based on what?
Based on what? Go look at his.
Based on what?
Look at his fourth quarter playoff performances.
He didn't have Shaq with him to do those things.
Oh, Shaq has nothing to do with his.
Yes, it does. Don't do that, Todd. Shaq's on the floor. Teams are game planning for Shaq. You said they were playing a boxing one for Shaq. You can't say that.
Let me stop you real quick. Go to the 04 finals game 4.
Don't bring up. I don't want to listen. I don't want to talk about 04 finals. I'm talking about while Shaquille O'Neal was in his prime, dominating the league from 2000 to 2002. You're telling me Kobe was the closer. I'm not arguing that, but you can't tell me or show me where Tracy McGrady cannot do that.
Cannot what? Close the games?
Yes. Where can Tracy McGrady does not have the skill or the ability to close games?
Listen, you got to understand. McGrady, if you check his fourth quarter numbers, especially in clutch time at the end of those games,
what
was
are they?
terrible.
What are they? Since you know them, since you said I got to go check them, that means you must have checked them. What are they?
Give me 1 second. I'll be right. Give me 1 second.
Oh, so you didn't know them? So you spoke without actual facts and actual knowledge? Is that what you did?
Exact numbers.
Well, no, he the one who brought up clutch numbers. I didn't bring up clutch numbers. I told you he can. I guarantee you, if we go look up Tracy McGrady, who scored 13 points in 9 seconds of a ball game, was very clutch.
I will say this. I will say the 2000 Blazers series, I don't think Mac was ready for that.
You hear me?
And the 02 King series.
Again, he didn't have Shaquille O'Neal. He did not have Shaquille O'Neal.
In a hypothetical.
Shaquille O'Neal has nothing to do with clutch. He was unfouled.
Shaquille has everything. No, Shaquille has everything to do with actual strategy, meaning teams are trying to stop him.
Floor. He wasn't on the floor. He fouled.
Let me ask you a question. How is it that Shaq is on the floor? Shaq is on the floor.
He fouled out. He fouled out one of those games against the Blazers.
Out of the game.
Shaq fouled out of one game. Don't bring up one game.
But they fouled out every game. Those 7-game series,
go to the Sacramento
Johnny.
game 4, 2001. Shaq was fouled out of the game. He's not on the floor. Kobe did this shit with Shaq not on the floor.
You're talking about one game,
bro. I just said
in a 7-game series that means everything.
I said
Tracy McGrady couldn't do that.
Bro, where? Where? What game? What playoff game he did it?
Wait. Here goes the numbers here. Here goes the number. Go ahead.
Hold on. I got regular season and playoffs. With Tracy McGrady and Kobe compared, and I'm gonna allow since he said Tracy McGrady wasn't clutch. I'm gonna let him.
No. We talking about playoffs. We're not doing regular season. We're talking about postseason.
I said I got regular season and playoffs.
Okay.
So regular season, so clutch fourth quarter performances, right? Because they don't have this statistic split. They have them combined. So it says regular season and playoffs. It says Tracy McGrady is 37% from the field in fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, he used 26.8% from the three. That's regular season and playoff. Kobe Bryant is at 39% from the field, but 23 to 24% from the 3-point line. So when you look at the numbers, it says Kobe Bryant is 107 out of 270 field goals versus Tracy McGrady, who has more volume, 266 to 714 field goals.
Okay, Lamont, you got to check.
Based on the percentages, they're almost identical in the clutch.
No, check this out. What you have to do, you got to understand what clutch is. The NBA official definition of clutch is the last 5 minutes of a fourth quarter overtime in a 5-point game. It's not the entire fourth quarter. That's not the NBA official definition of clutch.
You brought up clutch. You said clutch. Tracy McGrady is clutch. He's just as clutch as Kobe is without having Shaq. Meaning the entire team strategy is to stop Tracy McGrady. The entire team strategy is not to stop Kobe. They're not. The game plan is not to stop Kobe. It's to stop Tracy. That's what you guys fail to realize.
Shaq wasn't on the floor.
The second option and being the first option.
Okay, hold on. I got more numbers for you.
On the floor.
Hold on. I got more numbers for you.
On the floor.
Hold on 1 second. Go James Kingdom. Let me read it. I'm about to put it on the screen, but let me read it. It says in the final 5 minutes or in the final 5 minutes. And so we're going to do. Okay, so yeah, so for the final 5 minutes, no, this is actually the final minute. The final minute to tie, to take the lead, or tie the game. Tracy McGrady is shooting 40%, 40.9%. Kobe Bryant is shooting 25%. But also on this list, it has LeBron, it has Jordan, who shoots the highest percent. Jordan shoots 50% in this window of time. Jordan shoots 50%, Kevin Durant shoots 38%, LeBron shoots 40%, Tracy McGrady shoots 40.9%, and Kobe Bryant shoots 25% in those clutch moments.
Hold on, pause. Let me show you right now. I can tell you right now. You said the last minute?
It says right here. It says final minute to tie or take the lead. Tracy McGrady shoots 40%, 40.9% from the field. Kobe Bryant is 25%. Basically, Kobe Bryant, LeBron, Jordan, Kevin Durant, and Tracy McGrady all shoot better. Like, so if you want to condense it, if you don't want to accept the fourth quarter numbers, if you condense it down to the final minute, he's not as clutch as Tracy McGrady.
He's better than Tracy McGrady, because if you go down to what the 1 minute is a cherry pick. Pick.
We can't go 5 minutes. We can't do you, and you brought up the clutch.
I can go,
bro.
I can go down because it's a cherry pick clutch stat, brother.
No,
I'll give 5 minutes for it.
I can go from 0 to 5 seconds.
Can we just go to fourth quarter, LeBron?
Listen. I can go to 0 to 5.
No time. Just go to the fourth.
I can go to 0 to 5 seconds on the last shot, and I can show you.
That's not clutch.
So hold on, Todd. So within the last 5 minutes. So if we go,
I got the proof.
If we move it, hold on 1 second, Hollywood. If we move it to the last 5 minutes.
He capping.
So if we move it to the last 5 minutes. And so now we're going with the window that you've selected, not the window that I've selected. We're going with the 5 minute window that you've selected, because you didn't want to use the whole fourth quarter, which is clutch. You didn't want to use the last minute, which is clutch. Hold on 1 second, Todd. Hold on. I don't. First of all, we all know if you just use the NBA's definition of clutch, you're never going to get the most clutch player, because clutch can be a clutch game. Clutch can be a clutch quarter. The second quarter let's say your team is down 20 points in the first quarter, and you have a big second quarter. That's clutch if you do it in the playoffs. So again, clutch can happen anytime, any place, and it's not you can't confine it to what you want it to be. But let's just confine it to what you want it to be, which is the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. If we go down to the last 5 minutes of the first quarter, regular season and playoffs, for Tracy McGrady shoots 47% from the field with a true shooting percentage of 53% in the last 5 minutes of a game that's within 5 points. So the game has to be within 5 points in the last 5 minutes to even be considered clutch. That's regular season and playoffs. Kobe Bryant, on the other hand, is shooting 44% from the field on 50% true shooting, regular season and playoffs. So again, the numbers are same, but Tracy's are still slightly better. So no matter whether you confine it to the fourth quarter, the last minute, or the last 5 minutes,
I said
it's still
playoff.
Tracy McGrady.
You're combining regular season and play. I said
okay.
Playoff.
So just playoffs.
Hold on, wait, Lamont. You know why he's doing the playoff? Tracy McGrady don't have that much playoff record, so he wants to predicate on Tracy McGrady.
It doesn't matter.
Moments, meaning that there is no clutch. What if his team is not down 5 with 5 minutes to go? You don't have any stats to go off of that. So you're limiting Tracy McGrady's ability when in 2001 and 2002 he was just as good as Kobe. That's what they don't seem to understand. They don't want to accept that in 2001, 2002, Tracy McGrady was just as good as Kobe Bryant, and there's nothing about that Tracy McGrady that's stopping Shaq from winning his 3 championships. Nothing.
I know. Show me where McGrady played lockdown defense.
He does. Show me where Kobe played lockdown defense in 2001, 2002. Show it to me in 2000 and 2001. Show it to me. Show it to me. Where? Who? Where?
Hold on 1 second. Todd, I have it right here. So if we just go playoffs only, if we remove regular season, if we remove fourth quarter, if we remove the last minute, if we remove the last 5 minutes, and we just focus on the last 5 minutes in playoff games when the game just so happens to be within 5 points. So now we've added variable on top of variable on top of variable on top of variable. Now we finally get to a measurement where Kobe outshines Tracy McGrady. Now Kobe Hold on. So
It's
now
not
that we
variable.
put it,
That is the clutch situation.
No, it's not.
Come on.
No, it's not. Hold on. So now that we've gotten to the variable that you want, because Kobe didn't meet your clutch standards if we remove the variables. But now that we put on all these variables just to get to something that looks good for you, now what we have is Tracy McGrady in the last 5 minutes, playoffs only. In the last 5 minutes of the playoffs only, Tracy McGrady shoots 37% from the field, while Kobe Bryant shoots 44%. So now we have a variable where Kobe Bryant outshines Tracy McGrady.
That is the entire clutch situation. 5 minutes left. The NBA official definition. Y'all try to cherry pick and create narratives. How? Because y'all want to push a certain narrative.
Okay, so
Todd.
How we? Hold on, Todd. We're not up here saying Kobe's not clutch.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? We all know up here Kobe's clutch. I don't need to. What I do know is this, because you're the one saying that Tracy McGrady is not clutch.
Exactly.
No. I didn't.
Todd.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Todd.
We're only having this conversation because you believe Tracy is not clutch.
Facts.
We're not up
He's
here.
not as clutch as he's not as clutch as Kobe.
Todd. Not one person came up here and said, and not one person even came up here and said Tracy is more clutch than Kobe, because I feel that they are both clutch in their own ways. So the thing is, I'm not trying to rate Tracy higher than Kobe at anything. What I'm saying is, when I watched Tracy McGrady play, I never watched him play and said, damn, he's more clutch than Kobe. I just said, damn, that motherfucker's a bad man in the fourth quarter, and it just in his own right. Just like when I watched Kobe play, that motherfucker's a problem in the fourth quarter. I didn't.
Right.
Better. And at the end of the day, when we talk about that Laker team when we talk about the Laker team during the specific stretch that Johnny is talking about, we are talking about one of the most dominant teams in NBA history during that dynasty run. And so you're going to be hard pressed to find a whole bunch of games where this Laker team wasn't, especially in the playoffs, where they just weren't smacking the life out of people.
Nah, that's not true, bro. Only the 2001 playoff run. Only the 2001 playoff run they were smacking niggas. That's the only one they were smacking dudes, bro. 2001, that's the only one they were smacking teams, bro. 2001.
Lamont, I told you, man. And mind you, this is somebody who watched the towers drop. This is somebody who's seen the towers drop talking like this.
In 2000, all right, check this out. This is what I'll do for y'all, right? This is what I'll do for y'all. Since y'all claim that the Lakers were smacking teams all over the place, right? This is what I would do. I'll do the 2002 run. Since y'all claim it was he gave every year they were smacking teams left and right, right?
Hold on, wait.
This is what I'll do.
No, Todd, let me ask you this, though, Todd, because I got to go. I just want to ask you this.
First round against Portland, they didn't win the game by more than 7 points. They won by 8 points. That's the first round in Portland. Let me go to the next round against the Spurs. Since y'all claim the Lakers were smacking everybody. Since y'all claim they were other than 2001, they smacked nothing. Then they got smacked a few games. Come on, man.
Stop. Listen. I'm gonna show you the truth right now. In 2001, Tracy McGrady had more fourth quarter points than Kobe Bryant did.
Bro.
Okay, hold on. We're talking about being clutch. Yeah, because that's what we need. That's what Kobe was there for. They didn't need Kobe for the first 3 quarters. They don't need Kobe for the fourth quarter. Kobe shot 43% in the fourth quarter during that season. Tracy McGrady shot 43%. So they shot there identical.
Now when the game
exactly like I said in 2002,
the NBA.
I'm not moving the goalpost. In 2002,
you want to make
2002
what you wanted to make it.
I didn't say clutch. I just said fourth quarter. You brought up clutch. I'm saying fourth quarter.
That's what we talk about. The end of games. That's what matters. Nobody cares what you did for the
fourth quarter.
Nobody cares what you did for the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Todd. So just so we can move on, because really, I feel like now we've got.
Yeah, I didn't want to get in. I didn't want to get. That's not what I call.
Oh, you don't want to get exposed. That's something nobody wants to do. I understand. Getting exposed is not. It doesn't feel good.
I got the game downloaded. I'm gonna play this game footage as well, but because all of a sudden when T-Mac said, if you put me in that situation, I win championships too with Shaq. Why do you guys interpret that as T-Mac saying, I'm going to be better than Kobe, because that's not what he said. He's just
I don't
basically
interpret it that
saying,
way.
because what T-Mac is, when T-Mac basically makes that statement, he's basically saying, I'm looking at the Lakers. They're coached by arguably the greatest coach of all time, Phil Jackson. This coach, he's known for elevating the number 1 and 2 options like no other, like he did with Shaq and Kobe, like he did with Jordan and Pippen, and putting them in situations where they are just almost extremely impossible to defend. So what I'm saying is, how is what T-Mac said disrespectful to Kobe? Because he's not putting himself above Kobe. He's just saying, if I had this organization, the coach, a team that was willing to do what the Lakers do to win championships, I could win championships too. How is that disrespect to Kobe?
I never said he disrespected Kobe.
Because that's when we bring up T-Mac to this element. That's all. If we're talking about T-Mac,
I took McGrady.
That's all we're talking about.
I took McGrady comment when he said what he said. I took it as him just basically saying, "Let me get in a position where, like, I'm in a team with Shaq, I can win a championship." That's all he said. That's all he said. He didn't say I'm better than Kobe Bryant. He never said that. He didn't say, "Oh, we can three-peat." I believe he could have won a championship with Shaq. I absolutely believe that.
But you see how easily you got pulled into a conversation where you're then trying to compare T-Mac versus Kobe, when T-Mac never intended for this to turn into a T-Mac versus Kobe conversation. Because I think T-Mac would even agree that Kobe Bryant's a better basketball player.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, why do y'all fall into these? I'm going to compare. I want to prove to the world that Kobe's a better player than T-Mac, and that's not what T-Mac was saying. T-Mac is basically exposing to you, just like we were saying, is it's your situation that dictates if you win championships, not always the star player.
Now,
that's all he's saying.
Yeah, but I wanted to address your Klay Thompson comment. When you said Klay Thompson number 2 and you try to compare it to the Kobe and Shaq thing. That's what I was trying to address. Klay Thompson's not a number 1. I don't care where you put him. He's not a number 1. So that's not a good comparison to compare.
No, the only reason why I said that is because we had King Rowe up here. And King Rowe made the comment that if you are able to lead your team in a playoff series in scoring, then you are not a number 2 option. Klay Thompson has done that for the Warriors in some of their championship runs. In specific series, he's led that team in scoring. And so I said, King Rowe, if we use that logic, that means Klay Thompson, and there are a plethora of guys who are considered number 2 options who have done that in NBA history. That makes a lot of guys number 1 options now.
Absolutely.
That was to King Rowe specifically. That was not me making any specific claim about Klay Thompson's the number 1 option. I don't believe that. That's because I don't believe being a number 2 option is a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. But in the Shaq and Kobe case, if you want to say that first championship, Kobe was the number 2 option, I would agree. But those last 2 rings, when they were co-stars, because it was Kobe dogging the real competition in the West.
Yeah, but co-stars don't change the fact that there's a 1 and 2 option.
It depends on who you're playing, because against the Spurs, Kobe was the 1 option. Against Sacramento, Kobe was the 1 option. Against Minnesota, Kobe was the 1 option. Shaq was the 1 option.
Hold on. No, when you can't. So y'all try to make the number 1 option the guy that leads in scoring. The guy that leads in scoring isn't the number 1. This is the definition of the number 1 option. Who you run your offense through. Now, the end result of what that looks like is dictated by the defense. So, for example, if some teams were loading up the box, making life hell for Shaq, then you would see Kobe thrive because Shaq's getting triple and double team. Of course. So what we're saying is Phil Jackson made it clear to Kobe that this offense is going to run through Shaquille O'Neal first. Now, Kobe might still get his 30, especially if teams are double and triple teaming Shaq, but we all know that Kobe wasn't happy with that role, because if you guys are telling me that Kobe was a number 1 option along with Shaq, my next question to you is going to be, then how come Kobe didn't feel that way?
Because he fed into what the media was saying. Because he fed into what the media was saying, what the narratives were. That's why he didn't feel that way.
So are you telling me that Kobe Bryant is a stupid player?
No, bro. That don't got nothing to do with him being stupid. Let's keep in mind that the boy was 21, 22 years old. He was still a fucking kid. Don't do that. Come on, man.
Kobe Bryant was one of the smartest players in NBA. The man knew 4 or 5 languages.
Dude, that has absolutely nothing to do.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Y'all keep trying to tell me that we believed Kobe was this grandoso #1 option. Yet when every time we hear Kobe speak, even after the fact, even when he's much older, every time we hear Kobe speak, because when I played that video, what is Kobe? Kobe said Phil asked him to take a lesser role. And then also, if you read Phil Jackson's book, and we even pulled that up, at the end of the 2004 season, in the exit meetings for the players, Phil Jackson said that Kobe walked into that meeting and said, Phil, I don't want to be the sidekick anymore. So when I'm asking you this, that had nothing to do with media. That has something to do with his role. So I'm asking you, if y'all keep trying to pretend that he was this fake #1 option, why did Kobe feel like he was a #2 option? And not only feel like it, he voiced that multiple times publicly.
Answer this question. What #2 option has a higher usage rate and take more shots per game than a #1? Please tell me. I would like to know.
All the leading scorers, Sam Jones and John Havlicek, when they played with Bill Russell.
Oh, Bill Russell's not a scoring. He's not a threat. He's not a #1 option. They didn't go to him.
Bill Russell was the #1 option for that team.
Bill Russell averaged 14 points per game. Don't do that.
Listen, hold on. You're once again falling into the stupidity. The #1 option is
you're mistaken. #1 option with best.
Listen to what I'm saying. The #1 option is who you run your offense through. So when you talk about what the Boston Celtics were doing in the 60s, or even if you look at what the San Antonio Spurs were doing with Tim Duncan, they were, even though Tim Duncan in some cases wasn't always the leading scorer, they were running their offense through Tim Duncan. They were running the offense through Bill Russell. Bill Russell was one of the best offensive players in the league. They feared him on the offensive end. If you look at what other teams and other players were saying, because of everything else that he did, they ran the offense through Bill. They ran the offense through Shaq. That's what makes you the #1 option. And then even if you go by the numbers, Todd, in all of those playoff runs, Shaq was always outpacing Kobe in scoring. And the only way you can make Kobe outpace Shaq is if you hand select a single series and say, "Oh, Kobe outscored Shaq in that series."
That's my
point. If you look at the majority, let me ask you this question: for the majority of those playoff series that they won 3 championships, who was the leading scorer in each series for the majority of the time?
So, all right, from 2000 to 2004,
who was when they won those 3 championships?
Okay, just the
majority. The majority of the time,
the
majority of the time, who was the leading scorer in each of those playoff series?
Shaq was the lead. Shaq was the scoring, the majority leader. Here we go. Now, this is what you have to take into context. Now, who was he the leading scorer against? What was the level of competition? That's what it comes down to. You can't brag about beating up on a fucking freshman team when you're a varsity team, but then being quiet when you face another varsity team and you're average to below average. You can't do that, bro.
But
come on, man.
Hold on. So now you're penalizing Shaq because he was dominant.
I'm not penalizing him at all. I'm just telling you where he shined at. That's what I'm telling you.
Hold on. We all know where he shined, and we all know that the centers at that time weren't up to par with him. That's neither here nor there, because we could say that same silliness about Jordan in the 90s, where he didn't have equal comp at the shooting guard position, but he still dominated as a shooting guard.
Absolutely did not.
So at the end of the day, so do we penalize Jordan because he just dominated a whole bunch of subpar shooting guards?
I do. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you don't.
I do. I don't penalize him. He had an advantage and he took full. He had the advantage. And he took full advantage of it.
And was he the #1 option? And was he the #1 option?
Yes, he was.
And so Shaq had the advantage and took advantage of his.
Yes, but
was Shaq the #1 option?
But my point being is you have to add the context of who was the number one option against what opponent. The Spurs were the Lakers' biggest threat. Who was the best player? Who outpaced who, and who was hands down the best player in every single one of them series? Who? Answer that question.
As an overall player,
level of competition is everything, brother. Level of competition is everything. Nobody care about what you did against that freshman team. Come on, bro.
If you're in the playoffs,
Come on, bro.
In the playoffs, everything counts.
Yes.
So if Shaq was if you just want to use scoring, and because that's how you define what a number one option is.
No.
Hold on, Todd.
No.
If scoring defines who the number one option is, then who was the leading scorer the majority of time for the Lakers during their three-peat run?
Listen, brother. You got to understand this.
Does not matter who they did it against.
No, it does matter.
Who was the leading scorer or not?
Because the game plan was strategized on who the competition was.
Hold on. The Lakers did not change their offense.
Bro, so listen. If you look at who Shaq dominated against, you'll see he outpaced Kobe against the lesser opponents. You'll see Kobe outpace him against the stronger opponents. What do you mean, bro? I mean, Kobe was the leading scorer, and not only was Kobe the leading scorer, mind you, Kobe led in win shares. He led the entire fourth quarters. He led the entire playoffs and fourth quarter.
Let me ask you a question. From 2000 to 2004, who was the best defensive team that the Lakers saw?
The Spurs. But that 1 year, the Pistons. But overall,
hold on. This is a very simple question. From 2000 to 2004, who was the best team, that defensive team that the Lakers saw?
The Spurs.
It was the Pistons.
You see, that's why I said 1 year.
Oh my God, man. Bro, why do y'all gotta be? Jesus Christ. Bro, first of all, you just said, so what makes the guy the number one option is scoring. Shaq was the leading scorer in all of those playoff runs. Then you say, did you try to handpick certain series? Then you try to say, well, Shaq did his scoring against competition that I don't consider very good. Bro, no matter how you slice it, Kobe already said he was the sidekick. So let me ask you this question. Why, when asked in 2016 or 2017, and I'll pull it up from NBC, why did Kobe say he was the sidekick? Verbatim, he said he was the sidekick.
I can't read
pull it up for you.
I'm not into reading people's minds, brother. I'm not into reading people's minds, brother. Hold
on. Let me. Maybe we can get more insight. We're going to read Kobe's quote verbatim, and I'll put it on the screen for you so you can see. Okay, here. Let me share my screen. And if you want to look this up yourself, this is on NBC's website, NBC Los Angeles. Let me share my screen. So maybe Kobe can give you some insight into what his role was, since you guys want to deny what his role was. All right. Kobe Bryant admits to being Shaq's sidekick during the Lakers championship runs. That was February 13th, 2013. And it says right here, it may have taken a full decade, but Kobe Bryant finally admitted he was Shaquille O'Neal's sidekick during the Los Angeles Lakers three-peat from 2000 to 2003. He says the Shaq and Kobe combo led the Lakers to 4 NBA Finals appearances over a 5-year span. But the superstar duo only managed to win 3 championships before the Lakers traded their center and decided to keep the shooting guard. It says on Tuesday night at the Staples Center, the Lakers of the Lakers and Suns game, 2 of Shaq's former teams were going head-to-head. So the Big Shaq just decided to make a rare appearance at the Staples Center. Prior to tip-off, Bryant came over, shared some laugh with his former teammate. He says it was good to see Shaq. Bryant said after the game, I think we appreciate each other more now, more than ever. I think the further you get away from history you had together, the more you put into perspective how dominant you were. It says the larger-than-life personality of Shaq was on full display at the Staples Center. But it says right here, after the game, Bryant was facing the media, after an uncharacteristically poor performance where he scored only 4 points and had 8 turnovers, was still in good spirits because his team pulled off the victory. When the topic of Shaquille O'Neal came up, Bryant smiled and welcomed the questions. When asked point blank if he was Shaq's sidekick during the duo's time together, Kobe responded, "Yeah, for sure." He says, "The challenge was for me to show Shaq and show everybody else that I could win without him," Bryant continued. And he says that point was proven. He says, "I took it as an honor and as a challenge to be the player." He says, "I took it as an honor and as a challenge to be a player that could play a supporting role. Then move from that, take the lead role, and win that way as well." So Kobe kind of defines his career in 2 ways. He says with Shaq, he was in a support role. But he says after Shaq left, he was in the lead role. Why do you feel that Kobe describes his role with Shaq as a supporting role?
First, I'm gonna tell you like this: until I can see some video with that coming out of his mouth, I'm not taking the word of a media member, brother.
Holy shit!
So how many times have you heard Jada?
This is on NBA.
Hold on. How many times have you seen players get up there and say they took people's words out of context? How many NBA players you heard say that? You've never heard that? Answer that question.
Hold on.
Wait, answer that question.
Hold on. Let me Todd.
Answer that question.
Todd. If this was the New York Times, if this was the Chicago Tribune, if this was this is right in Kobe's backyard at a Laker game. This is NBC Los Angeles. NBC, they're gonna prop and push Kobe like no other. Why would they have a reason? And also he did it on video. I'm still trying to download the video because I can't get it to play here. But when I get the video downloaded, I'll play it for you. But it's on video. So, but what I'm saying is that the video, he's saying these things on the mic. These are quotes.
That's what I need to see.
So are you saying? So hold on. So let's just take, because I don't believe NBC Los Angeles in 2013 would have a reason to lie on Kobe, because Kobe never came out and said in 2013, NBC, you lied on me. I never said I was a sidekick. All I'm saying is, hold on. We have Kobe's quote. Kobe said, "I was in a supporting role." It says, this is not condensed or summarized because it's in quotations. It says, "I took it as an honor and as a challenge to be a player that could play a supporting role, then move from that, take the leading role, win that way as well. I took a lot of pride in that." Kobe was a prideful player. So I'm asking you, why would Kobe define his role with the Lakers in 2 different ways, with as a supporting player with Shaq and as a lead player when Shaq was gone?
I need to hear exactly what was said. I need to hear exactly what was said, not a quote.
Hey, Lamar, could I just get in here before you close off, because it's going nowhere. I don't know if I can get in one time.
But y'all see, this is what I got to go through right here. Like, I put the facts in front of people, and then they try to tell me that the facts are lying. They try to now I have to run with the narrative that NBC Sports Los Angeles is lying on Kobe Bryant, all because you don't want to believe Kobe Bryant's own words
all the time. You need to stop that, brother. Media members lie all the time. Don't do that. Come on, man.
So are you saying that? Hold on. I do have a video here where Shaq says Kobe says he was carried by Shaq.
You can find that, but let the brother that want to get in, let him while you find in that video.
Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel. You know, from his career starting in Orlando, and I'm happy that thing went bad. I'm happy. I'm happy he lost to Houston, because then he came out here and joined the Lake Show, and put us on his back, carried us all the way to a championship, carried us all the way to a championship, carried us all the way to a championship.
Now check this out. Like I told you. Hold on. You heard what he said? Carried us all the way to a championship. He talking about the first title. Like I said, that's the one Shaq carried him to. That's exactly what he said, brother. Come on, man. Stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop it. He said carried us to a championship, not to a three-peat. That's from their first title. Come on, man. You need to cut that out, bro. Stop that, man. Stop that. Don't do that. Yo, you crazy.
Okay, hold on. So hold on. So we have video of Kobe saying that Shaq carried him to a championship in
2000. I can see that.
Hold on. In article in 2013 from NBC Los Angeles, Kobe admits that he was playing a supporting role next to Shaquille O'Neal.
Brother, what a video. What a video.
And it even says,
Read the video.
I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive. Even if I play the video, you're gonna find a way to try to lie around it anyway. But
if it's up there, I'm gonna say.
At the end of the day, y'all, with FYF Sports, y'all, FYF Sports is a big on teaching and showing real basketball.
If it's up there, I'm gonna say you was right.
Okay, I got
if it's up there, I'm gonna say you was
have
right.
the video. I'm gonna have the video.
I know because it ain't up there. Man, you said you posted something about one championship. Man, you need to stop that cat. I told you, bro.
Okay, hold on one second. Here at FYF Sports, we always try to talk real basketball. There is no team in NBA history that wins with undefined roles. Somebody, somewhere along the line, no matter how good the players are on that team, somebody is going to have to bite the bullet and take a back seat. D Wade had to do it to LeBron, right? Shaq had to do it for D Wade. Kareem had to do it for Magic, right? Kobe had to do it for Shaq. Teams only function when roles are 100% defined. And what happens when roles aren't defined? Look at what happened with the Knicks, because as soon as the Knicks got ousted out the playoffs, they all went to the GM and said, we don't know what our roles are. This shit is confusing. And they fired Tom Thibodeau because the players are all looking at each other like, we don't know what the hell is going on here. Like, coaches, you cannot win in basketball when roles are not defined. Everybody needs to know what their role is. And then the only way you win is if people start to buy into those roles. And the unfortunate, and saying that Kobe, and actually the funniest thing about this is the ability for Kobe Bryant to buy into a role that's less than what his talent calls for and win a championship is more of a testament to how great he is. It's actually a testament showing that he's so adaptable that he can sit back and play a lesser role behind one of the most dominant players in NBA history, win championships, and when his number is called to go lead, he can also take the lead mantle and be that lead guy and lead the team. He basically showed you two versions. So if anybody wanted to make a significant case for Kobe Bryant being top 10, that probably might be your strongest argument, because no player in NBA history has shown that level of versatility other than Kobe Bryant. But instead of hold on, I'm talking to the people right now, Todd. So instead of Kobe fans embracing what made Kobe Bryant the Black Mamba, what made him as great as he was, and using it to as this, you could use this as a staunch talking point as to why you may or may not, or wherever you rank them highly over other players. What you try to do is you try to misappropriate who he was and what his role was, just so you can try to make it seem like his career and his career path was very similar to that of Michael Jordan. And it just ultimately wasn't. What made Kobe is how he came into the league sitting on the bench. The different types of battles he had to fight, the demons he had to deal with, different coaches, right? The mental games of Phil Jackson. He had to deal with a lot. And if you want to talk about his greatness, talking about his ability to be that type of arguably being the greatest sidekick in NBA history next to Scottie Pippen, and it could be arguable, and then transitioning into being one of the best players in NBA history as a lead guy, absolutely unheard of. And probably when you sit back and think about it, might be the only player in NBA history that's ever done that successfully to the degree that Kobe Bryant's done it. But yet you guys are so hell-bent on running from what his career actually was, trying to paint a picture that doesn't exist, that you're running from. Obvious. This is why you're running from Kobe's own words, that I would play the supporting role and then transition into a leadership role, and you have to run from his own words because you want to paint a different picture because you want to paint his career like Michael Jordan's when he's not Michael Jordan, when he's not LeBron, when he's not none of these other guys. His career trajectory, really, when you come into the league, really, to be honest, when you come into the league and you're sitting on the bench, if you come into the NBA and you're riding the bench your first year, you almost never have a case to be top 10.
What did Shaq mean when he said he was never the best player on any of his championships team? What did he mean by that?
So best player is just talent. So when you talk about talent, I don't think anybody. Hold on, Todd. I don't think anybody, like I've always said this. I said if you have a top 10 of the most talented players in NBA history, it'd be hard to keep Kobe out the top 3. Kobe Bryant is one of the most talented players in NBA history. So at the end of the day, if you're just going off talent, was Kobe Bryant a more talented player than Shaquille O'Neal? Hell yes. It still doesn't change the fact that Phil Jackson was hell-bent on running that offense through Shaquille O'Neal by hook or crook. So much so that when Kobe started going rogue, Phil Jackson went to the team and said, we need to trade Kobe. And they offered, and he wanted Jerry Buss to offer up a trade to I believe it was to the Phoenix Suns to get 2 of their guys for Kobe. And then they also even thought about trading him to the Cavs for LeBron James when Kobe Bryant decided to go rogue. Phil Jackson all-time great head coach. He was hell-bent.
That's a lie.
Hold on. He was hell-bent. We've already done the research.
That's a lie.
Hold on 1 second. He was hell-bent on running that offense through Shaq. This is according to Phil Jackson's own words. They ran the triangle through Shaq in the post. But when Kobe had the lead, they changed the triangle up and they ran that offense through something called the
Lamont, you're lying. You're lying about the LeBron trade. You're lying. Let me tell you why you're lying. I'm gonna tell you why you're lying. Because when they tried to make the trade for LeBron, it was 2007. They had nothing to do with no Phil Jackson, and then that's when they tried to get LeBron James. Come on, man, don't do that. It was 2000.
Hold on. The 2000. I'm talking about 2 different trades. I'm talking about 2 different times Kobe almost got traded. In 2004, this is a fact. Phil Jackson asked the organization to trade Kobe Bryant.
Bro.
Hold on. The LeBron thing was a different time frame, and it's not connected to Phil Jackson. This is what I'm saying. I talked about 2 different times that the organization considered trading Kobe. The second time was when Kobe demanded a trade because the Lakers were trash. I'm not talking about that. I said when Phil Jackson went to the organization, when Kobe went rogue in 2004, he asked for a trade, and Phil Jackson already doctored up a trade to the Phoenix Suns. That was the trade that Phil Jackson asked for. That is documented. Dr. Jerry Buss talked about it. I could pull it up on the screen now. Don't conflate the 2.
Who's denying that? I'm not denying that. I'm denying the part where you said.
I did not say it had nothing to do with Phil. The second trade for LeBron had nothing to do with Phil.
So what was the point of bringing up with the LeBron James trade when you're talking about Phil Jackson requesting a trade?
Okay, so I brought up 2 times where, for the first time, when you talk about Kobe going rogue, right? Phil Jackson was so adamant about running the offense through Shaq that he wanted to trade Kobe. Is that true? Yes or no?
That is true.
Thank you. So why was Phil Jackson so adamant about trading Kobe?
What you mean? Why he was so adamant about trading Kobe Bryant?
Why was Phil? Hold on, bro. It's a simple back. Why was Phil Jackson so adamant about trading Kobe?
You said it. You just said it about 5 times already. You went rogue, nigga.
Okay, so Phil Jackson, tell the truth about Kobe, because Kobe was going against the grain, not allowing them to run the offense through Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me tell you. Yeah. So, okay, let me break down.
Tell the full. No. This is the full truth. That you trying to do all these.
No, you're not telling the full truth. I'll tell you the full truth. Why did Kobe go rogue?
The full truth is, and we've already talked about it.
No, we didn't talk about nothing.
Hold on.
He went rogue because Shaq.
Another show. Hold on 1 second. Don't unmute yourself.
Shaq was being lazy.
Please. We've already talked about this.
That's why Kobe went rogue, because Shaq was being lazy.
Hold on, Todd. We've already talked about the fact that Shaq got out of shape and Kobe didn't like his work ethic.
That's why Kobe went rogue.
Hold on. It doesn't matter. he still went rogue and he started going outside of the offense, because no matter by hook or crook, no matter how you complain about it, no matter how out of shape Shaq was, Phil Jackson was still hell-bent on Shaq being the number one option and running the offense through Shaq. Out of shape, fat, sloppy, slow, however you want to slice it, Phil Jackson had a love for Shaquille O'Neal. He still felt he was the most dominant player in the league. And no matter how out of shape Shaquille O'Neal was, he was going to run the offense through Shaq. And Kobe was messing that up. Yes or no?
No. They sat up there face to face and talked about why things went the way they went left. Shaq was out of shape.
No, we know why Kobe went rogue as far as not respecting Shaq's work ethic. I'm talking about because the coach dictates the roles. The coach basically dictates who's going to be the number one option. Phil Jackson was hell-bent on running his offense through Shaquille O'Neal, whether he was out of shape, big, fat, sloppy, or slow. He was not changing that, even though Kobe was starting to shine. Kobe was starting to put in more work. Kobe was doing everything that a number one option should be doing, yet Phil Jackson was still giving him the role of a number two option.
Bro.
This is why after the 2004 season, according to Phil Jackson's own words in his own book, Kobe Bryant said, Phil, I don't want to be a sidekick anymore. And Jerry Buss specifically said, after the 2004 season, we could no longer contain Kobe. Kobe was gonna force his way into being the number one, whether you wanted it or not. And that's when Jerry Buss told Phil, we gonna trade Shaq, and we not bringing you back either. They was riding out with Kobe because Kobe started to make that transition, and Buss realized we can't keep this bottled in anymore. You are now going to be the lead dog, but he was never going to be the lead dog with Phil Jackson there, who was dictating roles, and with Shaquille O'Neal there. This is why they both had to go. That's what happened.
Like I said, they were co-stars, brother, just like Kareem and Magic.
Just because you're co-stars don't mean there aren't roles. Kareem and Magic. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on video talked about this.
The roles were recorded.
Hold on, Spitz. Kareem, you got to start listening. Do your research. Kareem specifically, because we did a whole show on this. Kareem specifically stated, he says, I gave the keys to Magic. He says, when I saw that Magic was transitioning into one of the best players in the league, he says, I gave the keys to Magic. He was the number one option. He says, I was going to be the supporting player. This is what out of Kareem's own mouth.
Brother.
But and I talked about the transition, the difference of the transition between Shaquille O'Neal and the difference in transition with Kareem and Magic, where Shaq didn't gracefully hand over the keys to Kobe. Even though he was fat, sloppy, fat and out of shape and declining, getting more injury prone, he still was wanting to be the big diesel and the number one option. As opposed to Kareem, Kareem said, Magic, you got it. And this is why Magic won those 3 MVPs. And he was able to get credit as the number one option. And they were able to still be dominant because there was a graceful transition of power, unlike with Shaq and Kobe. Shaq was not going to hand over the keys to Kobe, not willingly.
I want to ask you a question.
And that's why I also blame Shaquille O'Neal for this as well, because Shaquille O'Neal should have looked himself in the mirror and said, you know what?
You were coach. Let me ask you a question.
This is yours. He should have looked at Kobe and said, you know what, Kobe, you got it. You're younger. You're on the rise. I'm on the decline. You take the lead now. He should have been able to go to Phil and say, let him lead this thing, just like D-Wade did for LeBron.
You're a coach. Let me ask you a question, right? The triangle offense, is it or is it not called an equal opportunity offense? Is it or is it not?
No.
What?
The triangle off.
Did Phil Jackson not call it an equal opportunity offense?
I'm gonna explain why it's not truly an equal opportunity offense.
Bro, did he not call it that?
Okay, hold on. You can't ask me a question and then try to answer it. So you can answer it.
Since we don't care for my answer. Jackson.
Okay, so if you asking me my thoughts on the triangle,
I said, did Phil Jackson not call it an equal opportunity?
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why I believe he said that. If you don't care to hear my answer, who cares? I can tell you why, because I've tried to run it. I don't like it. But again, I know why he called it that. But go ahead and answer your own question.
All right, well, check this out. Phil Jackson called it an equal opportunity offense because they look for the mismatch in the offense.
Not true. That's not how the triangle works.
Bro, this is
okay. So let me break down the triangle.
This is what Phil Jackson said.
Let me break down the triangle for you guys because we're not going to talk basketball, dummy. Basketball.
How you gonna break down what Phil Jackson said?
Okay, so let's just talk what the triangle is. So the triangle. So first of all, there's two ways you can run the triangle: with a shot clock and without a shot clock. Obviously, the NBA is a shot clock game. The shot clock completely dictates how the triangle is run. The triangle was designed by nature in the NBA level with a shot clock to create what is called a ball reversal. And and when you look at, because it wasn't even Phil Jackson's offense, it was his assistant coach's
offense. It's Tex Winter's offense. It's called equal opportunity.
So Tex Winters, hold on one second. So if you look at what Tex Winters did, and if you read any of Tex Winters' books about the triangle offense, Tex Winter identified, and the crazy thing is he actually identified this before the analytics era, but he identified that your chances of scoring after what is called a ball reversal go up by like 60%. And so this is why when in Chicago, when Doug Collins was the head coach, they were so adamant about implementing the triangle, but Doug Collins never wanted to implement it. But basically the triangle offense with a shot clock, what it does is it influences ball reversals. He created the term, and Tex Winters also popularized the term, the ball has energy. That means when the ball swings from one wing to the other, everybody gets a touch. Everybody now feels involved. But you know what also can happen in a shot clock game? After that ball reversal, that ball can also end the possession in your best player's hands, just like it did with the Bulls in Chicago, just like it did with the Lakers with Shaq. The ball movement, the ball reversal is what increases your chance of scoring. Reverse it, shift the defense, get the ball. Hold on, you got some background noise. Stop. Reverse it, get the ball to Shaq, wherever you get it. And by the end of the shot clock, or wherever you choose to score where the shot clock is at, you look to attack. But that's why it's called an equal opportunity offense, because you want everybody touching the ball. Ty, you got a lot of background noise. I don't know what that is. So that's what equal opportunity is. It wasn't just coming down, for example, like Doug Collins was allowing in Chicago, come down. Sometimes in some possessions, nobody would touch the ball other than Jordan. Jordan would bring it down. Jordan would dribble. Jordan would shoot. That's not a very good offense. That's not an equal opportunity offense. Doug Collins was not an equal opportunity coach. He wanted Jordan to have the ball all the time. He wanted Jordan to do all the scoring and shooting. And that's why the Bulls weren't highly successful under Doug Collins. The triangle is the problem with the triangle in today's game is that players today, and Ty, you got some background noise. Players today get paid off of their production. The problem with the triangle is it hurts everybody's production, especially on the offensive side of the floor, except for the number one, or even in some cases, the number two guys. So this is why it didn't work when the Knicks tried to run it with Carmelo Anthony in them, because it's gonna get Carmelo Anthony a shit ton of fucking points. But other guys looking to get paid and make a name for themselves, they ain't gonna get no notoriety. They just swinging the ball, and so because basketball changed, and it changed because of contracts. That's why. It's just too hard to run today's game. It's too slow paced. But that's what the triangle is. If anybody's ever run it, it's not equal opportunity. You're not hunting mismatches. They were not hunting mismatches when they had Shaquille O'Neal. They were just trying to get Shaq the ball. When the Bulls ran the triangle, they were not hunting mismatches. They were trying to get Jordan the ball. They're not hunting mismatches. They weren't looking to see if Bill Cartwright had a mismatch on the block. They weren't looking to see if B.J. Armstrong had a mismatch on the wing. They were getting Jordan the ball, and that was it. And it got so bad in the 90s that Rod Thorne had to actually come out and say something about it and say, you motherfuckers are out here manipulating the illegal defense rules. And 3P got, y'all only say I'm saying a bunch of nothing because you don't understand the game. I've tried running the triangle.
You sat here, regardless of what Phil Jackson said, you created your own definition of what the triangle is. Come on, bro. So now you want to go on what?
Okay, so no, hold on. Tell me, don't talk about the definition of what he said. Tell me what played out on the court. When you looked, so for example, when you look to the Kobe and Shaq teams, Kobe and Shaq would average close to 30, and there would be nobody else scoring over 10 points a game. That's not equal opportunity. That's two players doing all the scoring. When you look at Jordan and Pippen, you had Jordan averaging 30, Pippen averaging close to 20, and the next man was maybe averaging 9 to 10 points or probably less. That's not equal opportunity. It wasn't spread out. So at the end of the day, the teams that had the most success with the triangle, look at Kobe and Shaq. They were averaging close to 30 each, and nobody else could score over 10 points a game. Explain to me how that's equal opportunity.
Check this out. Look at the players. Look at the other players that was on the team, brother. Now, if you go to the 2004 Lakers with Karl Malone, look at the scoring averages there because Malone and Payton could score. Come on, man. It's all about who's on the floor. Of course, no other player gonna average 15 points, whatever the case.
Did Malone average the 20 that he averaged the year before? Did Payton average the 20 that he averaged the year before?
Listen, you listen to the point. Kobe and Shaq averages went down when Malone and Payton came. Shaq went down. Kobe went down 24 points. Shaq went to like 21, 22 because now they got other options.
Shaq did not average 22 points in the regular season.
In 2004?
I got to pull it up.
He averaged somewhere around 22, 24, somewhere around. He was below Kobe, though, because Kobe was the leading scorer at 24.6. Shaq was below him. That was 2004. Their scoring went down because now they have Malone.
Hold on. Todd. You were talking about the triangle. You cannot use 1 year to define what the triangle is.
I'm using it because
for the majority of the time when Shaq and Kobe are together, they were the two most dominant scorers on that team, and no one else could crack 10 points per game.
Because nobody else was.
If you're pulling an outlier year when they were able to luck up and get Karl Malone and Gary Payton, that's an outlier. That's not that
because they could score. Because they could score.
But hold on. Tony Kukoc couldn't score. Ron Harper couldn't score. Steve Kerr couldn't score. You tell me these guys couldn't score?
Hold on. At that point in time,
Horace Grant couldn't score.
Ron Harper was no. So you telling me Horace Grant and them could score like Malone and Payton? Come on, bro.
Hold on. First of all, you're acting like I'm saying they were better than those guys.
Horace Grant gonna go out and get 20 points? Come on, bro.
Well, Karl Malone didn't average 20 with the Lakers that year.
No, we're not talking about him averaging. He was capable of it. It ain't about you averaging it or not.
God. Hold on. Why are you using 1 year, and which was an outlier, to define the triangle? For the majority of the time that the Lakers were together, Shaq and Kobe were the two most dominant scorers, and nobody else could crack 10.
Brother, Kobe Bryant averaged 18 shots per game that year, and Shaquille O'Neal averaged 14 shots per game that year. Stop playing with me, bro. Stop playing with me, bro.
Hold on. How many years when Kobe and Shaq played together?
It ain't about how many years.
How many years when Kobe and Shaq played together did the third option score over 10 points? It was very rare.
You're missing the point because the third option couldn't score.
Oh my God! That's exactly because hold on. See, this is why do we hold on? This is because you don't know what the triangle is, and you don't understand the impact of a shot clock. The shot clock is what the triangle offense was designed to get Kobe with Shaq, run the offense through Shaq, and the secondary option was Kobe. You don't have much time to get the ball to anybody else. There are no other options. It's a shot clock game. And when you got Shaq and Kobe, I'm not trying to get anybody else to score. I want only one of those two guys to score. It's not an equal opportunity offense. This is why the players don't like it today. This is why you can't run it today. Nobody buys into it.
That's a lie because Golden State run the triangle.
They ran a variation of it using 5 out, and they did split actions. So in almost every element, you can run horn sets that have elements of the triangle. Doesn't mean you're running the pure unabated triangle offense that Phil Jackson was running. You cannot run that in today's game. It will not work. I don't think y'all know what Golden State was running. Because with that much ball movement, the triangle doesn't even call for that much ball movement or even split actions. They have a split action offense that they added elements of the triangle to it. And even then, if you look at Golden State's system, what you're looking at is you're looking at Steph Curry doing a lot of the carrying, Kevin Durant doing a lot of the carrying, or Klay Thompson, he was the 2 option and 3 option doing a lot of the scoring. Why do you think young players or new players coming in struggle to find an identity with the Warriors? Because they can't do no scoring. Kuminga struggling, can't do much scoring. because he has to do other things.
Name a year, right? I want you to name a year.
I don't think, bro. I just want, if you're gonna talk basketball, at least even know what the triangle is. Like if I put a board up, at least show me how the triangles run. Like you got to at least have been studied these things. Y'all try to quote Phil Jackson, but the output shows what the triangle is. It's for your 1 and 2 players. When Shaq and Kobe were together, they were always averaging close to 30 points per game together.
That's because they were that dominant.
I guess.
You want to spin your narrative.
I guess that's not a narrative, man. It's just what happened. Like everything ain't got to. I don't have any agenda with Kobe and Shaq. I got Shaq in my top 10. I got Kobe at 11. I have no agenda. I don't care. The shit's already happened. Y'all always make it seem like when y'all version of events don't align with history and you want to make it in your mind what you want it to be just to formulate a new identity for Kobe. Kobe himself understood he was a supporting player. He said it. You just don't want to accept it. Bro. So you're still trying to craft ways to come up with the fact that Kobe wasn't a number. I don't think, like, again, if you've ever been a part of any basketball team, you would understand what I'm saying. Bro, everything that you're saying right now just stems from what fans typically think, which is, if he scores a lot of points, he got to be a number 1 option. He can't be a Robin, and that's just not how basketball works.
So hold on. So
I got to get ready to widen this one.
Phil Jackson comments, they apply from when you was making your comment about what he said, so forth and so on. But when he tells you that the triangle is a fair opportunity, an equal opportunity offense, he was wrong. Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm going to know.
I'm going off of Phil Jackson's own words about the triangle.
Yeah, so am I.
Hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. See, hold on 1 second. You're stopping after equal opportunity. Now, if you read his book, what does it say after equal opportunity offense? Because in this, hold on 1 second. I'm about to pull it up right now for you. Because if you read his book, after the sentence where it says, when he talks about equal opportunity offense, it has a subscript from Tex Winters, where Tex Winters talks about what? He had a section in there talking about how you trick a great player into playing team basketball. And Tex Winters said in this subscript where he said they literally had to trick Michael Jordan into playing team basketball, which meant, Jordan, the play is going to end with you. We're going to get you the ball, but we got to get this. We got to get this ball reversal. But you're going to get the ball. You're going to get your shots up. Your numbers are going to be practically the same. But we got to be able to reverse the ball. So right after that, so what you've done is you stopped and you decided to stop reading, and you did not even incorporate what Tex Winters said about that same very topic. It was, and I've always said this on the show, the triangle offense was always about tricking the best player into playing team basketball, which is moving the basketball, because it increases your odds of scoring with ball reversals. And that's what Phil Jackson was able to do with the triangle. And that's what he did the same thing with Shaq and Kobe. But the thing is, even Phil Jackson couldn't even keep it under wraps when Kobe went AWOL. But you got to know what the triangle offense is. But they said it themselves. I can put it on the screen.
But
I'm about to put it on the screen.
Tex Winters, the architect of the triangle offense, based his philosophy on equal opportunity. The offense emphasizes ball movement and player movement, giving every player a chance to contribute and create scoring opportunities.
Thank you. Hold on. I just said that. Create scoring opportunities. So again, everybody touch it. Tex Winters. Hold on. Please, Todd, please stop. Because this is how I know you don't understand the game. Please stop. We talk about ball movement. Tex Winters said the ball has energy. He wants everybody to feel like they're contributing to the offense because it makes you play harder on defense. I just said this. So what you do is you implement or you find ways to create a ball reversal where everyone touches the ball. Everyone is incorporated into the play. Everyone can feel like they have an actual role in the offense. This is how you get the most out of your players on defense. But it's still going to ultimately always end with one of your two best players always scoring. With the Bulls, it was Jordan or Pippen. With the Lakers, it was Kobe or Shaq. You will rarely find a game where a goddamn Derek Fisher just surprised everybody with a 30. You're not going to find a game where some role player like Rick Fox goes ballistic and drops a 27-point game. It always ended with those guys getting a lot of touches, being a part of the offense, feeling like they're in rhythm and in sync with the team. But it's going to end with Kobe and Shaq or Jordan and Pippen doing most of the scoring output. That is just how the triangle is.
Jackson introduced the system to Jordan, Jordan's initial reaction was skeptical, calling it equal opportunity offense. This suggests that
this is why this is what I just said. I said they had to trick Jordan into playing it. Jordan wasn't going for it because Jordan wanted the ball. I'm just summarizing. We've already talked about these things. What did I say earlier? If you listen, don't just listen to listen. Actually understand what I'm saying. I said before. I said Jordan, I said Tex Winters told Phil Jackson, we need to trick Jordan into running this because Jordan did not want to run it. So they tricked him into running it.
Dumbed down his scoring average. That's why he didn't.
Hold on. His scoring barely went down.
Bro, listen, he went from 37 and 35 points per game down to 31. Stop playing. If you call that shit,
the 37 and 35 are outliers. Jordan was always around 32, 31, and 30. He played 15 years.
That was in the triangle he was around in. Before the triangle, what was his average? He had 35.
Before the triangle, it was just him going rogue without no offense, no
That's
structure.
my
Was
point.
losing. So again, with the triangle, they had to convince Jordan. Oh my God, bro. I got to drop the link, man.
Dude, you crazy.
It's just hard. Well, let's. How about we just not talk X's and O's because I don't know.
I just read you the.
Okay, I don't think you know what the triangle is.
Nah, you coming up with your own.
Okay, so hold on. Let me ask you this: who did the bulk of the scoring for the Bulls? Two players.
I can't hear you.
Okay, for the Chicago Bulls, when Phil Jackson coached them, what two players did the majority of the scoring?
Shit, Jordan. Fucking.
What two players did the majority of the scoring?
What year? First, it was when Jordan first came in the league. It was Jordan and Orlando.
Why can't you answer simple
questions? It was Jordan and Orlando.
Jesus Christ, man! What the hell are you talking about, man? Jordan and Pippen did most of the scoring. Why do you dance around it and try to play stupid? Who did most of the scoring with the Lakers when Phil Jackson was there? What two players did most of the scoring? What two players did most of the scoring with when Phil Jackson was there?
The two best players in the league.
Wait, hold on. What two players did most of the scoring when Phil Jackson was there?
The two best players in the league, Shaq.
Okay, what two players? Just like they said, the two best. Just like Dr. J said, the two best players in the league was Jordan and Pippen. You are right.
Shaq and Kobe.
Okay, so now just like you answered that question, what two players did most of the scoring when Phil Jackson was with the Bulls?
When Phil Jackson was with the Bulls, who was it? Jordan and Cartwright, maybe? Before Pippen became.
But I don't. Do you see how they tried to slick diss Scottie Pippen? Do y'all see how they tried? I want y'all to see this in real time. I want y'all to listen to how he was so quick to give Kobe credit, even call him the second best player in the league behind Shaq. But when it came to acknowledging Pippen's greatness and him being the second best scorer on that team, this man said, Bill Cartwright. He didn't even want to. He said, well, Jordan, you danced around giving Scottie Pippen his credit in an era where the pace was slower. Crazy, man. Crazy.
Did you say before Phil Jackson or when Jackson first got there?
Bro, I think you heard what I said very clear. Young Africa, what you got on this?
Did you say before Phil Jackson got there?
Yo, what up, man?
Hold on. You heard exactly what I said.
No, I didn't.
Hold on, Todd. I said when Phil Jackson was the coach of the Bulls.
Okay, first years.
Hold on. I said when when we talk about Phil Jackson as the coach of the Bulls, we're typically talking about the 90s Bulls. When Phil Jackson was the coach of the Bulls, what two players did the majority of the scoring? Young Africa, can you answer that question for me?
Jordan and Pippen.
Thank you. And now, what two players did the majority of the scoring when Phil Jackson coached the Lakers?
Shaq and Kobe.
Thank you. And when I talk about the triangle offense, because Young Africa, you've been up here when I've talked about the triangle offense in the past. The triangle offense caters to your two best players always scoring. It's just not
defense moving.
It wasn't the 7 seconds or less offense it wasn't true equal opportunity. If it's equal opportunity that everybody can score, will be what Steve Nash had with the Suns with their 5-out offense.
No.
But that's not what the Bulls had.
It was exploiting the mismatch. That's why you had games where the Lakers were trying to post up fucking Luke Walton when he had mismatches. Come on, man. It's exploiting mismatches. That's what the triangle offense does.
So you said the Lakers were trying to exploit mismatches with Luke Walton.
Yes, I can show you games where
with Shaq and Kobe there. With Shaq and Kobe there.
No, man. Walton only played 1 year as a rookie with them. Stop playing, man.
Hold on. But so we're only talking about the years.
I'm talking about when Shaq was gone.
Oh my
when
God.
Shaq was gone.
Bro, it's not the same. When Shaq was gone, Phil Jackson was gone.
No, he was not. He was there in 05, 06. What are you talking about? 06, 07. What are you talking about?
How did they do?
How they did is irrelevant to how the offense was ran. That's irrelevant. You're moving the goalposts. Come on, let's stay on topic here.
So who is the second league
talking
scorer
about
in 05?
And since you want to talk about how did they do, tell me who was on that roster and tell me what their career resumes is and what they got on. Tell me was they not the worst league, but they worst fucking roster in fucking league history. Tell me if they wasn't or not.
So you said
you want to do that. Tell me their resume. Them niggas was trash, nigga. Worst roster ever playing in the Western Conference.
So now you're killing his teammates.
Man, I've been listening, man.
The second best player was Lamar Odom. And Kobe Bryant.
Here's the funny thing about absolutely.
Hold on. Here's the funny thing about it. That Kobe Bryant in 05-06 was what the media killed him. I'm going to show you why the media killed him, because Lamar Odom only averaged 14 points per game, and this is what they were saying. I'm going to show you what they were saying, because they were saying if Jordan had Lamar Odom will be averaging like 25 points per game. I'm going to show you what the media was saying. They was basically saying Kobe was so selfish that year, he was hurting his teammates. Here, I'm going to put it on the screen for you. Skip Bayless talked about how Kobe Bryant was more selfish player than Jordan. If Michael were in Kobe's shoes, he would be turning Odom into a secondary star. They were basically talking about at that time they were talking about Kobe Bryant and how he had Lamar, because they made the massive trade and got all these pieces back. And Kobe wasn't using none of those pieces. It was just Kobe doing all shooting close to 30 shots per game. That's what Kobe was doing. The next person on that team was shooting 11 shots per game. That was Lamar Odom. And after that, everybody was in single digits. Kobe was shooting close to 30 shots per game that year.
Straight cooking. Yep, straight cooking.
And I know, and I'm not taking that away from you. He was definitely cooking. But all I'm saying is the triangle offense in its true essence was designed for your two top players to thrive.
Oh, of course. And even
again,
this,
not always.
When you like what we see today, we didn't have teams back in the day where you had 4 or 5 players that could dribble, shoot, pass, and do all of that. So even if you have the mismatch, like Luke Walton, you ain't doing shit in the post because you're Luke Walton. So it don't matter. But I wanted to ask this, man. The selfishness of Kobe or the Kobe Mamba mentality. I want to ask you this. Do you think that if it was because championships, you got to get lucky, and Tracy McGrady is an example where you said this, and you got to get lucky to be on a good team and a good franchise to win a chip. So if Kobe goes to like a bad team, or he actually goes to Charlotte, do you think with his mentality, he would have actually figured out how to win if he had like a decent team without ever learning how to win with Shaq and Phil Jackson?
So I think the best way for me to look at it is, let's say he just gets drafted to Charlotte and he plays it out through Charlotte. I don't know if he gets any with Charlotte. And it's mostly to do with the organization. And you know, Kobe. I think Kobe's career still pans out very. I think statistically he might have a more prestigious career, but winning wise, I don't think he has close to the same career.
Exactly. And then how do you rate a player like that? That's what happened to a Tracy McGrady or to a Allen Iverson. And we don't rate those players, or a Chris Paul. We don't rate those players even close or consider them top 10 eligible. They don't even come into this discussion. The first question would be where the chips at, which is the ring culture that LeBron's talking about. At the same time, like you showed, Draymond Green still has that, man, y'all ain't even at the table to even talk about this. What are y'all talking about? And there is a status to a championship. A championship does elevate a player. It does. To win a chip.
No,
yeah.
And it does.
Like
and
what Shea just did, it elevates them. Yeah.
And what I said is unfair, but the unfortunate reality is that championships do give you a bump in at least my ranking and my criteria. I said if you don't want championships to play a significant role, and if you don't want players to be unfairly treated, then just formulate your criteria around that. And just say your criteria is about talent or something like that. But just be cautious about what that's going to make your list look like. If it's just about talent and if you're removing championships and things like that. So, but people ain't ready to do that.
My thing is, the issue is I have with this is like no one wants to lose an argument. And it's like, I see no consistency. Like no one really has a definition for ring culture. Like some people's rings are worth more, some people's rings are worth less. And I would like, it's your show, but I would like someone, or maybe like a show one day where someone finds a consistent definition to what ring culture is. Because
we know 6-0 is ring culture. That's what it is.
I get that. But that really makes no sense. Like, if you're a race car driver, right? If you're in NASCAR, they eventually add up all your places throughout the year to see who's like the top racer. Like you came in second in this place, you came in fifth in this place, and then you came in first. That's weird.
Because if that was the case, LeBron would unanimously be the all-time greatest player, and it wouldn't even be close if that was the case. But that's not even how we view the game. And so let me ask you, Lamont, real quick, because you said there was like how many players in front of Pippen when we talk about secondary rings? How many players were in front of Pippen in that ranking that you said 32 something?
They have Pippen ranked it. The NBA ranking had Pippen at 32 all time. 6 players with 0 rings were ranked ahead of him.
Which were the ringless players ahead of him?
I think it was Iverson, Barkley, Malone.
Damn.
I mean, just all the most usuals, but yeah, just ringless players just ranked ahead of them, and it's just like, look, I don't mind the ringless players being ranked ahead of them, and I get it but then don't turn around. It's because the media creates a lot of these lists. Don't turn around, and when a player loses, all you're doing in the media is, if you listen to people like Stephen A talk, is tearing them down because as a team they didn't get the job done, right? Like when Stephen A was talking to Tracy McGrady, he was basically making it seem like the ability to propel to the Rockets to the championship was all on his shoulders, and injuries to Yao and other moves that they made didn't have nothing to do with it.
Oh, he pretty much said you choked, you was 3-1 up, and you didn't get it done to the face. And those are facts, but facts without context are dangerous, are very dangerous. And that's what he did. But which of those ringless players? I do not have Iverson over Pippen, man. No way. When we talk about value even of a Pippen player, like today, Pippen's value could be considered, to be real, more valuable than Jordan's value in the modern game, man. It could be debated. Definitely debated. We're talking about a 6'8", PG, clamping everybody down. What? Stop him.
I just think that, bro. I don't think it's ever going to change. And to be honest, Africa, I don't think none of this is going to change until LeBron retires, because I think people right now are so hell bent on just pushing propaganda that picks and prods at LeBron's career that's what everybody's invested in right now, and it's not going to stop until he's gone. And the reality is that the next player I feel like it's going to start happening to, if he if he stays on this trajectory, it's going to start happening in the SGA. Because SGA right now, he's on a trajectory.
He got one.
But what I'm saying is he's on a trajectory right now. If he keeps this course up, his career is going to look a lot like Jordan's. It's going to take a lot now to look like Jordan's career. It's going to take a lot of work. He got started with the winning a lot earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you get that championship much earlier, you know, you get more shots at this thing to really start racking up and adding to your resume. So, it's just sad how they do the players of the day, where as soon as a player has a shortcoming, they choke, they did this, they did that, they not this, they not that, and it's just sad how they do players today, man. And everything is based like this Kobe, all this Kobe nonsense. It's only coming from people that don't like LeBron, and I don't really consider them real Kobe fans. They all fake Kobe. Like Brandon Katz, he's a fake Kobe fan. Like he's gonna pretend as Kobe didn't have the same flaws in his career that LeBron had, and he's gonna make seem like all LeBron's shortcomings were the worst thing in the world, as if he didn't have. Like LeBron might arguably have the greatest playoff series win in history and the greatest playoff performance in NBA history. Yeah, like he might have both of those in the bag, but people will say, "Oh, he ain't clutch. He dropped 29 in the fourth. He ain't clutch." Like
not clutch.
People say
no bag,
no bag,
and that's why. Oh, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, what I hate most about this conversation, and that's why I really took some time off, is like nobody wants to lose. Like, especially the ring culture guys. Like, when I hear them argue, it's like they sound like trolls. Like it's like like Lamar. I was watching you. I'm talking about. It was like you was breaking down science. He's like, you know, this is what a triangle is. This is how this affected it. Text winners, all this. You did all that for Ty to say, I didn't see no video. Like, I'm like sitting here like, bro, like y'all just don't want to lose the argument. Like all this stuff about 6-0 and all that's not a real 6-0 is not a real argument. Because Tom Brady didn't go 7-0. You know what I'm saying? There are football quarterbacks that have a better record as far as win percentage in the Super Bowl. They don't do that to football players.
Hey man, but at the same time, like 6-0 has a context, and I've always said like the competition of like the Bulls went up against in the 90s. When you compare it to like LeBron, for example, not even close, man. And there's context, but 6-0 is heavy just in itself to go to the finals and never go to Game 7. But then I question the competition. You know, Utah Jazz compared to San Antonio Spurs, KD Warriors.
What? They just made that up, though. Sports has been around for over 100 years. You have to understand this.
So what I'm trying to say, anyways, is like the conversation around rings. I don't think it's a bad thing, man, because people devalue rings as well. And one thing that Lamar was talking about was how Pippen as a second option gets no love. 32 all time. You know what that means? Lamar, on the greatest team of all time, the greatest dynasty of all time, and the second option is 32 or 31 places below the first option on the same team. He's the greatest, and I'm the 32nd. That's crazy. That's crazy. And to go undefeated and never go to a Game 7, that's crazy. It can't be that heavy on Jordan. No way. And Pippen, to me, his archetype Pippen to me today in today's game. If I ask like SGA is one of the best offensive players. Who to guard him? Pippen all time. I would pick to guard him and would do a very good job, better than anybody today. And that's underrated, man. I don't know who you would pick to guard SGA all time, but I'll pick Pippen, and that would make him way higher than 32 all time.
You know who I would pick? I would pick a prime Kawhi Leonard.
Prime Kawhi, yeah, okay.
That's
the one
because
because
of the physicality. Because you're gonna need somebody that SGA struggles with people he can't knock off their route or bait into mistakes. Now Pippen, defensively wouldn't make a lot of mistakes, and his length would definitely bother him. But I
wingspan.
feel like because Pippen was so handsy, if
Mm.
you're talking about today's game, I
Rip.
feel like he could catch Pippen with them hands in the cookie jar a lot and bait him into them petty fouls. Which, as far as Kawhi Leonard to me was more of a chest-to-chest guy, wasn't as handsy, and would definitely use his physicality. I just don't see him getting knocked off his route as easily as Pippen would, or getting baited into foul trouble as much.
Lamont, I got a weird question. Would you say that Bill Russell led his team to championships?
Yes.
Just defensively, though.
No.
Okay.
Pippen did a lot on the offensive end. I mean, Bill Russell did a lot on the offensive end.
Okay, right.
But Bill Russell also understood, I got some really good scores on this team. We're going to run the offense through me, but I'm going to make sure the Sam Joneses, he can do his thing. The John Havliceks, the Tommy Heinsohn. So, but the problem is people like the guy who was in here earlier, they think the number one option, the only thing they can think is who led the team in scoring. And that has to be the best player. And that has to be the best leader.
No.
That's
That's
just
why,
not the
and even the significance of championships. For example, like Kobe playing not great in his first finals, still has significance in that the defense has to check him a certain way. They still got a game plan for him a certain way. It's not the same as like Derek Fisher dropping 15. It's like Shaq needed Kobe, just like Jordan needed Pippen, man. All greats needed that, and that's why Kobe needed his own rings too, because he would never be considered top 10 if he didn't do what he did with Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom, and won those chips. But he did do that.
It's hard for me because I just feel like if Jordan never had Phil Jackson, I don't know where he would be right now, and I'm dead serious about that. I've seen too many great players. I've seen too many great players come in and out of the NBA. Average 30, do all this great stuff, play good defense. Stackhouse, Carmelo, James Harden. They, great scorers, great all-around players that won nothing. For me to say,
even more than Phil Jackson, man.
It's a team basketball. It's team basketball, man. There's nothing you can do about that. And nobody wants to acknowledge that. They want to say Jordan just won 6. It's team basketball, and that's how it's always been.
I know, but before you mention Phil Jackson, though, you gotta mention Scottie Pippen, no doubt. And before you mention, Scottie Pippen is an amazing player, man. I got him ahead of guys like Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, yes, Karl Malone, yes. And if you just talk about his archetype in the game, he was underutilized in the 90s, man. He would be popping off as the number one option today, bro. He would be MVP candidate today, man. He would be Kawhi Leonard type player today. And imagine if he could get his own shit off, get his own shot creation off, actually get into his shit and actually become a seasoned sport. Never got that chance.
I said, and some people thought it was controversial. I said, I think if Pippen and Jordan, if you inserted them in today's game, Pippen would be the better player.
And that I feel the same.
I know why you say
6'8", handle, rebound, 1 through 4, can check a Draymond and rim protector as well. Oh my goodness, man. Wingspan crazy. And there's a lot of high volume scorers today, and the SGA showed us that scoring is very valuable, and that mid-range shot creation is amazing. Jordan will still be elite, no doubt, but the ability of a Scottie Pippen unleashed, oh my goodness, never saw that.
But
damn,
no,
man.
no, he's never gonna
The
get
one
his
that
just
Scottie
due.
salty, man. He didn't even max out, and he didn't do what Kobe did do, and said, "Yo, I ain't gonna be another Scottie and be that second option of my whole career." And no, I'm gonna do it solo. It's me or him. Let's go. And that's amazing, man. That's amazing. But Scottie Pippen, all time great. Don't even talk about.
It's hard for me to call.
And the people don't know, Africa, is that the more props you give Pippen, by default, the more props you give Kobe. But people don't understand that. They be so thirsty to just say, because remember what I said. I said Kobe might be the first player in NBA history to successfully transition as arguably the greatest number 2 option of all time into the 1 option of all time and win championships and win multiple championships in both roles. Is there another player in NBA history that's ever done that?
No, I would say, has there ever been how many second options have got a chance to be the first option and win a championship and lead a franchise?
Not a lot. I mean, Pippen really.
Yeah, that was for a season. Yeah, okay, and then sliding out on the way out. Yeah, that's not in his prime. One season.
Oh, one season. He's one of one. What his career is a one of one career.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
But his own fans don't even know how to appreciate his own career.
Oh, it's amazing. And the grind and the work is probably what he would talk about as he did. But like when you talk about his career, why is it when you talk about like giving props to Pippen, like the chat is saying now, that we overrating Pippen now? And why when you give props to Pippen is automatically somehow a diss to Jordan? It's not a diss. It's a acknowledgement that he played with a great player as well. Like they both had to be great. And that's why they were so far above everybody else that they won 6 and home. Like that's ridiculous. I do question the Dan Marleys and the Kevin Johnsons and the Charles Barkleys and the teams that he went up against, but they still got it done. And that's ridiculous to do. Even if they were that much better, they still did that though. And that Scottie Pippen, so amazing, man. Was not a good shooter. Hey, erratic. Scottie showed what? Tony hit the shot. Like, wow, we defined a whole career in but a few moments by Malik Lewis, man. This is ridiculous, man. And this is what I mean. Like, the skill set of Scottie Pippen is what we praise today. That's the irony, man. We praise a player like that. Isn't the whole NBA draft about that, Lamar? Literally trying to find the next Scottie Pippen? Literally. You know, Kate Cunningham, a version of a Scottie Pippen? Like, you know, offensive heavy version? Like, there's a lot of players that they're looking for that are 6'8".
I told you, once they demonized Kobe for being the sidekick, now nobody wants, like, once they demonize it for Kobe, it's a wrap for the number 2 option. Like, if that would have been the opportunity to change the narrative in basketball right then and there, the media chose to do it to the negative. They could have found a way to put a magnifying glass on how great Kobe was in doing what he did in a secondary role, but instead the media used it as an opportunity to pick at him, to prod at him, to tell him he couldn't be like Jordan, to tell him he couldn't win without Shaq. Fans started doing the same thing, and it ultimately led to Kobe going rogue, because as Kobe kept saying in all the videos I played, I wanted to prove to everybody I could do it without Shaq. And that's the mindset that they put him in. Because playing team ball like a Pippen wasn't enough for him.
No love, no respect.
But
second,
and that's why I say it's sad. That's why it's sad when all these people come up here, like Todd was doing, pretending, and even King Rowe pretending that they was giving Kobe love when he was playing. I was like, no, I was like, y'all hated that man. Y'all hating on him, and y'all forced him into doing what he did to Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, Kobe got a lot of hate in his career. He got way more hate than love throughout his career. Way more hate. And he was dissed for his game a lot. For the selfishness, for the shot selection, for the Kobe's, you know, and all of that. But at the same time, man, I feel like one of the all-time greats. And so I would say this, man. When we look at today's game, do you think that the idea of the first option and second option and the clear best player will change? Now that players are doing so many things, like Indiana Pacers. You can't really say Indiana Pacers, they say Pascal Siakam, you know, number 1 offensive scorer, but Tyrese Halliburton, probably the best player on the team, I would say. But it's going to be more hazy in the future, who the best player is, because players are good, all good.
I think what's forcing it now is the new CBA. Because this new CBA is going to force us, it's going to force teams and fan bases to appreciate the others. Because what we seeing now, because of this new CBA, you ain't winning just with the having a good player at the top trying to give him,
or even like a big 3, like a Phoenix Suns trying to do. No, not enough.
And because this is why Caruso gets so much praise now, and all these others, right? You know, when you look at
Lou Dort,
this is a year where Lou Dort, Obi Toppin, we're talking about super role players are getting significant praise You know, Neesmith. Who would have thought we'd have been talking about how great Neesmith was?
Popped
You know,
off.
this year's playoff, and it's just like the narrative's changing because unfortunately the NBA had to change with the CBA and things of that nature. But it's forcing fans to appreciate the others.
That sounds like
Forcing them.
LeBron will be the last face of the NBA. That's what that sounds like. The last face, the greatest and last face it may be.
Hey, there's no faces right. And when LeBron retired, like LeBron is still the face of the league right now, whether people want to admit it.
Oh, fact.
There's no new face in waiting. You know.
Yeah, there's a couple potential, but there's not.
No. See, that's the problem. If you a face, it's not a potential. You either are like when LeBron came in.
Oh yeah,
he was
changed
a
the
face.
game straight away. Yeah, what about Wemby? Has Wemby changed the game like that? Not yet.
But Wemby ain't got the marketability. Like the face it, like the one lady on Fox said it best. Old women who don't even watch the NBA got to know who you are. Like, you know, I don't think the everyday person just know Wemby. You know, if you're not just a NBA fan, like Bron, everybody know Bron. Jordan, everybody knew Jordan. Magic, everybody knew Magic when he was at the top. Those are the real faces. We ain't got a face now.
Oh, facts.
I think LeBron's kind of giving the rub to Luka Doncic as far as being a face, though. Like
he's never going to be international.
Euro face.
A lot more people know
Luka.
Luka. No, I'm saying a lot more people know Luka now that he played with LeBron and he was LeBron's
international face of the NBA. Oh,
I don't think so.
Man, there's not been many faces in the NBA. In NBA history, there have been really many unanimous faces. So.
You know, one thing that sucks about the conversation though is like you can't always. It's hard to measure defense. Like it's hard to measure what Pippen really did on defense. Like who he guarded.
Shit, yeah, right, man. That you can measure that shit.
I'm just saying
finals, man. Just watch. Hey, watch one finals. Hey, watch the Phoenix Suns versus the Bulls in the '90s finals, man, and just watch what he was doing with Charles Barkley and the whole squad, man. It's ridiculous.
But there's no points for stops. You know what I mean? Like in the NFL, you tackle somebody, that's a stop. You tackle somebody behind the line of scrimmage, that's a stop. You know what I'm saying? Everything counts. In the NBA, not everything counts. There's a stat for scoring. So you could go straight to the points per game and say, all right, this is how great this player is because he scores this many points per game. You don't got that, in the NBA like that. So
but again, why do you need a stat to tell you if it's great?
Yeah, you can watch the game and
in the conversation, that's what people use. That's why I say that. Because in the conversation, they talk about Jordan's 30 points per game, or they talk about Nash's assist, or how many blocks Akeem had, or that's what people use. So it's hard. That's why it's hard to measure Pippen. Like me, I don't got Pippen as a great like that. But
why not? Why not though?
Because he doesn't really. He's not at the top of any list. You know what I mean? Like he's not.
Hey, hold on, man. You would just say that people talk about numbers and shit, and that now you're talking about lists like numbers, like his statistical stats. You mean?
I just don't see. I don't see his impact like that.
Impact, yeah, numbers. What do you mean?
We seen
what he does. Impact.
And I know he was injured. I know he was injured, but we didn't see a crazy impact for the Blazers.
Yes, we did. Hell yeah, you did.
That's what. Hey, so we just had this whole conversation about ring culture and 6-0, and so this is the weird part, right? How you can associate 6-0 to Jordan and how influential he was in those championships, but not associate anything to Scottie Pippen. He was literally a part of the greatest dynasty of all time, and we're questioning his impact as the second best player on that team. And on one side of the ball, the best player on the team being the defensive side of the ball. That's crazy.
The way I would measure this, it would take forever for me to measure somebody's impact. I would have to see when he guarded such and such, how much did his scoring go down? How much did he get turnover?
Oh, we just need to
How much?
watch the games.
That's
But
how I
anyways,
would measure
I'll pull
somebody's
that. I'll
greatness.
pull the Barkley
Impact.
numbers real quick. I'll pull the Barkley numbers for the finals, man. For sure. But that's crazy.
But I'm not just
Now,
saying
you need
Barkley
numbers without looking at the game. Have you watched the finals that he played in? Just the finals alone? Don't even worry about the career.
When I was a kid, I watched that. I didn't go back and watch.
You need to refresh your memory then, man, because
No, I know what his impact was during the finals. Like I watched documentaries, people talking about it, all that stuff like that. I'm talking about on a game-to-game basis. That stuff is hard to measure. That is a hard thing to measure. How much did you affect players game to game? You know what I mean? We can look at it and say Pippen had great defense and he stopped this and that.
Yeah,
but a lot of the defensive teams back in the day was how many steals did you have? You're all defensive, small forward was whatever. It's not like analytics today is a lot more. You can measure that a little bit better now, but especially back then, it was like how many steals you had, how many blocks you had. All right, you're all defense or whatever. You know what I mean? So that unfortunately at that time we didn't have the analytics like that.
I don't think you need it, man. I think we don't know because, as I've always said, it takes you gotta. The defense is the boring side. Scoring is the fun, easy side to watch, and it's just like this is one of the reasons why Pippen will never get his credit because it only takes the hardcore basketball heads to respect his greatness. Because it shouldn't take. I mean, all you got to do is watch Kobe's detail video. I mean, if you just want to fast track it and get and you want to get the quick rundown of how great his defense was, just go watch Kobe's detail video on it.
I personally think if somebody like, I think if somebody was really that impactful on defense, it would show on their success.
It did show. They were
like
6
Mutombo,
championships.
like Theo Ratliff that year, the way they were playing.
Hold on.
Were the Bulls? Iverson wasn't even there.
Hold on.
Iverson was not there.
Hold on.
No, go ahead.
Were the Bulls always a top 5 defense when Pippen?
Yeah, they were a defensive team. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if they were always a great defensive team, and Pippen was always in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, and I mean, if you want to use measurables, since you don't see the impact, we just go to the things that you can count. Pippen was always first team All NBA defense. Pippen was always in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, and Pippen was always leading the team with the best defense. On top of what his coaches said about him, which is subjective. You don't. But if you want to go to measurables, just use the obvious measurables that you do have. He was always top in the league in steals. I mean, if you want to run the steals and stuff like that, he fell atop of too many defensive things. Like if you want measurables, the measurables exist if you really want
them. The weird thing about it too, though,
hold
is
on.
like
Now I want one person up. I want. What is Brandon talking about? He says Kobe has far more first all defensive teams than LeBron. What the hell is he talking about? What does that mean? I mean, Brandon, you can hit the link and explain that. I don't know what this means. I wasn't talking about LeBron. But we about to shut this one down anyway, because Go James Kingdom is live. But boycott activation, let me go ahead and make sure I get this one shut down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off here. We got some other shows we got to get to. But I appreciate you pulling up today, man.
Yes, sir. If you could do that one show, the ring culture dudes, break it down for me. I would love for that. Love that show. But yeah, that's
hold on. What do you mean ring culture dudes? What you talking about?
If somebody could state, all the people that's in the comments always talking about 6-0 and who got the championships, come on to the show. Click the link and say, this is how I measure how great you are. and based on what, how many rings you won or what. And so that we can use that as a barometer to measure everybody else besides Jordan.
Oh no, we've done shows like that. Like, for example, when King Rowe came up here and gave us his criteria.
Okay.
But the problem is what happens when they give us their criteria. They try so hard to create criteria to keep LeBron low. So their criteria gets screwed up. So King Rowe gave us his criteria, and he's having all these variables and elements and this and that, and we put it all into ChatGPT, and it said, well, LeBron is your GOAT based on this. It's just like LeBron is so good in so many aspects of the game of basketball. Like, he's checking so many boxes, you can't avoid it. And then it screws up the rest of your list. Like, when you get towards the bottom, it's just like, then you got players you ain't never heard of because you done screwed around with the criteria too much, just trying to keep LeBron out.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
So that's ultimately what ends up happening. Yeah, we be doing that a lot, but nobody is gonna come up here. Nobody just brings criteria and says whatever it kicks out is my top 10. I'm cool with that as my top 10 because this is my criteria. My criteria ain't changing. What they do is they'll give us their criteria. If the list don't look right to them, they're gonna start trying to change their criteria up just so the list can look right. So they're willing to compromise their integrity and criteria just to create a list that looks like their favorites or the players or to keep off the players that they hate.
I give you credit on your patience, man, because I'm a solutions-based type person. I had to take a break, man. I've been on your show, watching your show. I watched GJK, I watched Michael Jordan's Fans, and it was just like no one could get that one thing we could all agree on. And I said, I can't do it, man. I need a solution. That's just how I am. That's how I am, though. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. Great show, though.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, salute to pulling up, man. Appreciate y'all. Salute to CJ. I see you in there. LaShawn Watson. He says Lamont is projecting on what him and GJK do. I don't know what that means. Greg. He says LeBron kept himself out by trying to force his narrative down everyone's throat. I don't know what that means. I don't know what do you mean he forces his narrative down everyone's throat? His resume? I mean, his resume is what it is. You're not going to find a resume like that. He says, can you explain what you mean by criteria? If you guys are just going to go by numbers, I mean, well, your criteria is everything that you consider the makeup of a great player, everything that you consider for your and how you weigh it for your top 10 is your criteria. That's all it is. I mean, it's not super difficult. I mean, I didn't think it was. We got Jared. He says, that just tells you how great a player is. LeBron carries teams better than anyone ever did. Yeah, you could kind of say that, I guess. How do you read a sentence and doesn't know? Oh, he's talking to somebody in the chat. All right, y'all, man. We're going to go ahead and get this one shut down. Appreciate everybody pulling up today, man. It's been FYF Sports, another great podcast episode, y'all. We'll be back with more sports and news, y'all. Until then, man, it's FYF Sports.